Hello. It's 6:30 on a Wednesday in the Chicago suburbs, and that means it's time for Modern. Here again, it's me, May, and
Hello, it's Jack, also known as Goblin Ringleader.
the Goblin Ringleader himself in the booth. We're going to be watching some Modern today. We're going to be checking in on stuff that's the Modern RCQ season. So lots of players vibing on the meta deck. Some people getting ready for their standard RC this weekend, which is pretty exciting. Um, you're taking some time off from your standard testing to play Modern, the relaxing format.
Nice and slow.
Nice and slow.
You don't lose on turn 3. Wait,
Yeah. Wait a
wait.
minute. You're free from the curse of Corey Steelcutter. So
It's kind of crazy how every format is fast right now.
every format is fast.
Like in Legacy, oops all spells. Modern is like Storm and Amulet, I would say are like the two
Hopper's pretty
best decks.
slow.
Okay, that's fair. Wait, but High Tide's coming back.
Anyway, we can go down to the game here. What do we got?
We got two legends. We got Sam versus Sudeep. Something cool versus Hammer Time.
I I really like this. So something cool. I We don't know yet.
He's a smart man. He never reveals his secrets. He plays magic. He's a magician.
Yep, he is a magician. Okay, so pretty strong start for Sam. Hammer, Memnite, Mox Opal.
I think I see a Flage.
Okay, Flage. Flage is cool.
Oh, this is the Just Guy Consign Flage deck. This is Just Guy Energy. But maybe with a twist because it's cool.
Oh yeah, the like consign your Flage trigger. We got preordains.
I don't know what it's technically called. Oh, I see
Lightning Bolt.
Corey Steelcutter.
Corey Steelcutter, and Flage in the same deck, and Lava Dart. Okay,
So hear me out.
this actually is pretty cool. This is
Just Guy
something cool.
Prowess with Flage Consign backup.
Yeah, I mean,
Something cool. It's
yeah.
something cool.
Flage Consign is, what they would call it, a Splinter Twin situation.
Meanwhile,
Meanwhile,
Sam
so
always does the same thing. Got the hammer, got the Ornithop or the Memnite this time, using the Forgotten Battlefield
Forgotten Battlefield.
to equip the hammer to attack for 11 right off the bat. And
I think it's actually 13 because the Battlefield Preparedness also gives him +2/+2.
that's right. See, I'm the one who forgets the name, and
It's all good.
oh, there we go.
Oh, Battlefield Improvisation. Yeah.
We're close. We're taking.
The
Oh,
improv
there we
that-
go. We're taking stabs at it. Another prismatic ending.
All right, so takes care of that. Is at 3, which means the fetch lands are pretty tough.
Yeah.
Like it could be fetching here. Is pretty good. Yeah, I guess just probably gonna get a surveil land or something, or it could get a basic planes and ending the hammer.
I mean, I like that. I also like.
Oh yeah, getting blue mana to unlock your other blue spells.
Yeah. Now you don't need to any untapped land lets you cast this Flage as long as it's not a shock. You can fetch for a basic. You can go back up in life. Sudeep's on the edge of the seat here, but may be able to stabilize.
I mean, there's certainly there's another what do you call it? All this was happening.
That was the bobble trigger, I believe.
Oh, Bobble Trigger. Okay, I was like, and drew a card, but I see. So you want to surveil before Bobble Trigger. That all makes sense. This all makes sense to me.
Yeah, Sudeep playing the Corey Steelcutter in Standard too, also having pretty good results. Taking it back to Modern here, seeing how it can play against this tight or Hammer Time deck. But we'll see because Sam has the Urza Saga. Opal's not active though, so this land might just go away at the next turn.
That's true. Sam currently cannot make a construct, which means that Sudeep is not like just dead. And provided a blocker anyway, so there you go. Primo, yeah, preordain.
What do you call Preordain with another Scry? Is there another card that's like that? I can't think of a card.
I can't think of a card that's like surveil, and then also
It feels
scry.
Yeah, it feels like somehow. What's the other one? It's not Ponder. It's not Preordain. It feels sometimes like
Sleight of hand.
kind of like Sleight of Hand. I was thinking more like
Consider.
Predict. I think is the one I
Oh,
was thinking of.
predict. Okay.
But you don't draw an extra card, but you look at an extra card, and so it's not. It's a bad analogy.
Well, there's also Serum Visions, right? Where
That was
you
it.
draw
That
you
was
draw
it.
and then you scry, and preordain is you scry and then you draw.
Oh, a strict upgrade.
A strict upgrade, definitely.
Shout out to my brother Cole in the chat. Got to shout him out every time I see him.
There's your brother. There he is.
The legend.
All right. So Sam probably floating a mana, going to get something out of the deck.
Now, what do you pick here? It's really tough.
What do you get here? Boots. Oh yeah, because then your any random dork you get is just gonna be could threaten lethal.
And now the Mox Opal's online too, which anything you would have grabbed would have turned that on, but you can immediately get the mana from the Mox to equip it. Yeah, good point. The Sadeep has the expensive DRC in play. I think that's a what promo was that? Was that like a top eight promo from? It's like an no, it's like I think it's like an RCQ promo or something. Like I think there's something like that. Store champs maybe.
Yeah, retro foil Darcy.
Yeah.
So what do we got here? We got a spell of some kind.
Hmm.
Shocking and Hallowed Fountain.
There has to be a reason.
It probably must be a creature. Oh, okay. Nettle Cyst is pretty good. So that
Is it 3 mana?
so mana floating from the saga.
Construct. Or sorry, yeah, that makes
Yeah.
sense.
So it's a 4/4
Ooh.
Eternal Weekend. Oh, the Eternal Weekend is the expensive one. Yeah, that's the regular art.
Yeah,
Um,
that makes sense. Goes
so flashback lava dart. Oh, this is a blocking scenario.
maybe trying to bin a Flage so that he can untap, play a land, maybe a white source,
A flage.
and escape it back from the graveyard.
Well, so before it picks up the boots, right? It's a 4/4, and then it would become a 5/4 with the boots. So with 1 damage on it from the lava dart, now the Darcy can trade with it.
Yeah,
Not a lot of situations where Darcy is on blocking duty as a 3/3.
yeah, that's kind of crazy.
Usually when it's a 3/3, it is in the red zone.
Most red creatures definitely just do want to turn sideways, and DRC makes itself turn sideways. But this is one of those situations where it's kind of nice.
Yeah, I mean the other thing is, does putting a damage on the germ de-incentivize an attack? Oh, but then you need to lava dart before the boots get on because it gets ward 1. So okay,
Yeah.
so you want to open up the blocking possibility, and what's what we're doing there?
Snap trade.
Yep, counting it up again. It's
Yeah.
4/4.
Yeah.
Well, it's a 5/4, but
Mm-hmm. Just making sure.
yeah,
And
probably just discussing the order of spells resolving with Dom.
making sure that the ward was not,
Oh, here it
ignored.
is.
Oh
Corey Steelcutter spotted.
my god.
So here comes Corey Steelcutter, and then play any other spell. Yep. So
Boots.
pending your boots, make a monk, attach the Steelcutter to the monk, swing for 2. Or maybe you're still on blocking duty, but you're
Yeah.
probably swinging for 2.
Yeah, there's no boots anymore. You don't have to worry about a hasty threat, and I don't think Sam has any like direct points of damage. Like he can't just be like deal you 2. I believe I could have spoken too soon. Oh no, he can deal himself 2.
He can deal himself up to 3 if he chooses, but probably won't choose. So
Oh, that makes
Sudeep in
sense.
a much better spot now because going to 1, but the last card in the hand we know is Flage. So cast Flage, go up to 4. Next turn, looking really good to just escape the Flage, and then that ought to turn the corner pretty quickly.
Which is insane because Sadeep is at 1.
Sudeep is at 1, yeah, which is crazy. I don't know, really, really sort of utilizing all the resources, having to trade with the Darcy. Likes the card on top and kept it. It was so Flage, yeah, Flage, Sam's face. Nothing else to Flage. Go up to 4. Now, are you comfortable getting in for 2?
I,
Or are
get,
you still worried about?
I think the only way that like Sam would be able to like cheat out things with flash, he would have to have a spell with flash,
Right.
some creature with flash, or something that would allow him to cast his spells with flash. But I don't know if he has anything like that in his deck.
He's currently hellbent, right? So there's
True.
nothing. I think probably the Lava Spur Boots is the only haste enabler in the deck.
Yeah, which is insane because you would think that a deck that plays so fast, so low to the ground, so many different threats, but just 2 prismatic endings and a Flage, and Sadiba's rounded this corner pretty effectively.
Yeah, double prismatic ending is pretty good.
Yeah, I can attest. That hits my violin, my Snoop. That checks out.
So gotta be Stoneforge, right? Yep, that makes sense.
Mm.
So if there is another haste enabler in the deck, or we're about to find it.
Is there a Cauldra in this deck? I
Um,
don't think it's good enough.
no, Cauldra wouldn't do it here because the Stoneforge is gonna die before it gets to attack or before it gets to activate because Flage is gonna eat it.
Yeah.
What is that?
Is that a Pithing Needle or that Graveyard Hate?
Oh, that's no, that's the Shadow Spear.
Oh, okay. Unfortunately, oh, makes the Stoneforge big enough to live through.
Oh, live through Flage. Yep, because now it's a 4/5. Okay, that's pretty sweet. So Stoneforge definitely not on blocking duty anymore because you don't want to take 2 damage and then get flaged. So this is interesting. I wonder if there's just going to be like, okay, attack you with my huge guy with who gains me a bunch of life, and then get attacked by your huge guy who also gains you a bunch of life. Interesting. Stoneforge is a pretty good draw there. Pretty impactful draw.
Yeah, and now the Flage is not going to just like straight up win this game. Like the Flage is going to come down. It probably is going to go to face now, and
Yeah, you still escape the flage.
and it kind of just sits there now.
Yep. I mean, so Sam could when Sam plays and equips the Shadow Spear, they can attack in for 5. Yeah, I don't know. Flage is still 9 points attacking, which is kind of awkward, right?
That is a lot.
Um,
And the Stoneforge didn't grab anything crazy. It just grabbed the Shadow Spear, which will just give it lifelink, an extra 2 power and toughness because of the Nettle Cyst
yep.
and the buff that it gives itself. But I don't think that that's going to be good enough.
What's interesting, so the best draw for Sam here is probably second Stoneforge, maybe. Um,
My,
Oh no, no, the best draw would be another Battlefield Imposition.
yeah,
That's what the best draw would be
yeah.
for
You
sure.
play your Shadow Spear, equip all your stuff. It has trample, lifelink, die.
Yeah, trample life thing +2/+2.
Blech.
Yep.
Oh, uh, okay. So,
An infamous goblin with a slightly different art in foil.
I'm trying so hard to remember.
Interesting.
I love trivia. Let me see. Because I'm thinking about all of the different arts for the goblins that I have, but for foil, that's a really interesting question.
So Stoneforge picks up the thing, rumbles in. So this is a 1, 2. So it's 4, 5, 6. It's a 6, 7. So double blocking here will kill the flage, gain 7. Monk lives because monk is a 2/2. So and plays land, drew land. That doesn't do it. So Sadiq probably is just on escape another flage. Oh no, has second Corey Steelcutter. So Corey Steelcutter and then any spell. Expressive iteration. So trigger both. Oh wow. So trigger both Steelcutters. Make 2 more monks. The initial monk has 2 prowess triggers. Wow, this is a lot. A lot of damage.
Things are getting out of hand very quickly, and this is the power of Corey Steelcutter. We've seen this across formats.
Yeah. It's not a well-known goblin. It's infamous because of its art.
Oh. No. Cutter is such an insane. Yeah, Corey Steelcutter is insane. I'm trying to think. Because I know there's a lot of like crazy art in Magic. I'm trying to remember what goblins are different. Like my first reaction was um there's a squee. But there's the bajillion squeeze. The first thing that came to my mind was Goblin Guide because I have a foil Goblin Guide that's a different art, but that does not do it.
There are different arts.
There are different arts, but it's the same printing. It's just slightly different in foil specifically.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That's really cool.
Looking at your screen, I'm cheating.
Yeah.
I can't read that, but it looks like Goblin Goku.
Goblin Goku would be an amazing card, and that would be such a ball. Like, imagine drawing the art for Goblin Goku. That would be pretty
That'd be
fucking cool.
pretty good. All right, so came in for 7 last turn, and now, oof, yeah, that's a lot that's about to happen here. So preordain, trigger all the prowesses. So now we're looking at 7 more damage. Yeah, bottom. Need to find any non creature spell.
Yeah, and Sam just
Or actually, no, any spell will do it because you can make 2 more monks when you cast your random dork or whatever.
Sam being at 10 just has another land in hand, I believe, and just has to concede. Being run over by the Core Steel Cutter, showing the power all the way back to Legacy, a standard card that has infected everything, like kind of like Dreadhorde Arcanist. That's a bad example. Kind of like
Dread Arcanist was good.
yeah, went back to Legacy, but Slick Shot Show Off
Slick
is a
Shot Show
much
Off, yeah.
better example. Yes, a card that just showed up out of nowhere and kind of took this format by storm.
Yeah, here and Violent Urge from Dustmorn is insane in this deck. You know, +1/+0 in first strike, not that unassuming. However, Delirium give that creature double strike means that you could attack for basically a million out of nowhere. A judge actually wrote a really good article today about some of the calls from RC Bologna. Am I pronouncing that right? Bologna.
Oh gosh, I have no idea.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway, how when the example was like, cast 2 removal spells, swing for 400 because that's like essentially what you're attacking for with Core Steel Cutter
Yeah,
and Slick Shot Show Off and Monastery Swisher. Like a bunch of the cards that are on display here are also legal in Standard.
yeah.
So,
I will say the only cards that are not legal in Standard are
well, about half of them.
yeah.
But
Never mind.
but there, but like the core of the deck of like Corey Steel Cutter, Monastery Swift Spear, Slick Shot Show Off, Violent Urge, plus other stuff is prescient, right?
I've lost to
Like
that in Standard.
yeah, Shock and Burst Lightning
Just
are
slot them in.
not quite Lightning Bolt and Lava Dart, but pretty good for Standard.
Now in this matchup specifically, you won game 1. On the draw, you're definitely not favored because Sam can go really fast.
Right.
I think you're gonna probably try to cut some of your more aggressive pieces to slot into a more like kind of like removal heavy deck. Do you have the agency for that? I see we just have a meltdown and fork and signs. I'm thinking maybe we take out some of these pump spells and we just try to like play a mid range game.
Yeah, I would think trimming on mutagenic growths and bringing in a meltdown and a couple of consigns is probably good. And then when you go back on the play, if you go back on the play, put the mutagenic growths back in.
Great point. The free spells make such a big difference. Being able to just like be like, oh, I have a Core Steel Cutter, but also I can double mutagenic growth because you didn't block. Oh, did you die?
Yeah, you just died.
That's crazy.
I'm sorry about that you died just now.
I don't know what happened. Where'd you go?
Though you can also basically play Expressive Iteration in Standard in the form of Stock Up. Stock Up is a pretty insane card.
Yeah,
Pretty good.
The stocks have been up.
The
on
stocks have been up
on
for
Stock Up.
sure.
Going over to Sam's list, this is tried and true. This is what we see pretty much every week from Sam. I'm an aficionado of goblins. He's an aficionado of hammer. And I think he lost game 1, but I think on the play, as I said, he's pretty much favored. He just kind of has to protect his game plan. Maybe you cut some of like the more mid-range cards. You just go all in on your aggro plan and try to protect it. Cut some Stone Forges, bring in some... It's crazy because both decks play Consign. Maybe you play Spell Pierce to try to protect against a Meltdown, but what would you bring in?
Well, I cheated and I just watched what Sam brought in.
Oh.
So brought in the fuse card, whose name I can never remember, Wear Tear,
Yeah.
and Surges. So keep his guys alive through removal and also disrupt the Core Steel Cutters.
Hey, if it's not on the battlefield, it doesn't do the busted thing.
Right, exactly. So both players on 6 here.
Sometimes these aggressive decks, you need a good, solid starting hand, especially in something where I don't want to say this is the mirror, but these decks both have the ability to pop off really fast, and so you have to respect what your opponent's playing, and you can't keep a mediocre 7.
Right. It looks like Sam is probably keeping on 6, and Sudeep is drawing 6 to see how he feels about it. We've updated the deck list from something cool to Is It Prowess?
Wait, he's Jeskai.
I guess he's Jeskai.
No,
'Cause he's
I'm
got-
so sorry.
He's got the Phlages and the.
I just hear his voice in the back of my head being like, Jack, it was Jeskai.
It was Jeskai all along. All right, so turn 1, we got the Ink Moth and the Hammer.
Not leading on the saga because that means you can't make constructs. Getting that Ink Moth down so that potentially he can kill super fast if he has an opal that he's slow rolled.
Right. So you slow roll the opal, and then pause for a moment.
Pause for effect.
Yeah, pause for effect.
Technology.
Technology. Now also has access to a Surge of Salvation if Sadeep tries to fire off the prismatic ending. I don't know that Sam has one, but is representing one. Also
He do-
does have the battlefield improvisation, so threatening the animate my ink moth attack. Oh, whoops, you died. That is a 4 mana play, which is a little bit intensive, but is still just something to watch out for.
and you see some explosive draws if Sam draws a Mox Opal. He just plays a land and he's there.
That's true. If he has land Mox Opal, then he just wins on his next turn.
Which
Well, assuming there's no interaction, which of course the Jeskai Prowess deck does have a bunch of interaction, so but
and
is threatening certainly to win next turn.
there is a line here where Sudeep sets up for a turn 3 and he just plays his Quarry Steelcutter and says, "Okay, well you can't kill me now, right?" It probably doesn't do it, but there is a world here where he taps out.
So we're gonna start with so we're gonna go Darcy into a bunch of spells, which is pretty good.
That is really good.
So get Delirium cooking here. Yeah, bin sorcery, get an artifact in there.
Expressive Iteration, beautiful art there.
That is a beautiful art for expressive iteration, and has a lava dart, so can basically just like at will lava dart. Though okay, so Sam just lets the hammer go. Interesting. Oh, I guess.
He doesn't have white.
Oh, sure doesn't.
That's crazy.
That's why he let the hammer go because couldn't cast the spell.
Yeah, Sam might be in a really. Oh, yeah, that's tough. He turn 1 played the Ink Moth instead of the Plains, and yeah, that's tough. That's really tough.
Well, I mean, playing the ink moth is trying to set up that high roll, right?
Yeah,
Which
definitely.
I think does make a lot of sense.
But just for this sequence with the card in his hand, it's really tough.
Mm,
Now, Swiftspear coming down, there's going to be some damage coming through. There's a lot of burn in Sadeep's hand.
right. I
Does
think this is
nothing.
just an attack for 2 though,
Okay.
because it's like monastery swiftspear, nothing. Interesting. I wonder.
Boarded in Pyroclasm.
Pyroclasm clears out a lot of Sam's stuff. These tokens are about to get completely out of control. Yeah. So gonna flashback the lava dart in response. Kill this before it becomes a 2/2 when the second construct is made.
Surveil Trigger on the DRC, and then still probably in the instep.
No, this is
Oh, this was in the main phase.
yeah.
That makes sense. Somehow even worse for Sam.
Well, yeah, and then I guess does have a short window here after the construct is made, but before the library is searched to lava dart the other one. But that would leave him with 1 land, so that's maybe why he's not firing it off there.
Yeah, and the Bind Expressive Iteration kind of makes me think that he has another one. That's a card you don't really want too many of, but
Right.
when you have one with a DRC, it's really good.
Yep. And kept on top. So what are we gonna get? What do you get here? Lava Spur Roots is good. Opal might be good depending on what else we got going on. A little bit of interaction can be tough for the Hammer Time deck to beat.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't want to say it reminds me a lot of when I would try to build Narset. This is a much more resilient deck, but like people would always tease me because I would try to build Narset, Omniscience, Enter the Infinite combo.
Mm-hmm.
There was like this crazy deck where you would play Serum Powders and then pull from Eternity to put your Narset from exile with the Serum Powder into the graveyard turn 1, and then turn 2 you'd Gorios it back, and then you'd hit an Omniscience, and then cast an Enter the Infinite. Very much so the most magical Christmas landy of the deck you could possibly build, and it would always struggle with like, oh, you just put one roadblock in front of it and it dies. And Sam's deck is very much so not like this, but at this stage of the game, it's really hard for him to get past one piece of interaction at a time. Very much so like the Goblins deck is, if you kill our most impactful spell every turn, it's hard to get out there.
So there was some discussion about whether Darcy had Delirium last turn, and I don't think it did
Yeah.
because last turn the Lava Dart was cast on Sam's turn, and Sudeep just had Prismatic Ending, Expressive Iteration, Arid Mesa, Mox or not Mox Opal, the Bauble, Mistress Bauble. So that's sorcery, sorcery, land, artifact.
Yeah.
So it has Delirium now.
Land,
Nope.
bauble, ending, expressive. No, because
No, 'cause
expressive. Yeah.
Expressive and Pending are both sorceries.
I wish prismatic ending was an instant. I would never win a game.
It feels like it's an instant because a lot of the times when it's cast against you, it's cast off of a Teferi. So it happens during your term a lot because of Teferi's uptick, but it is actually a sorcery.
It's pretty awesome. Gotta be honest.
It is very awesome. So anyway, exiled a lightning bolt, played a land from the expressive. Probably going to be lightning bolting this construct. Yep, get the blocker out of the way. Delirium definitely online now. +2 prowess triggers is 6 damage, which would put Sam down to 12.
Yeah, and usually Sam is the aggressor here, but Sudeep just having enough interaction to keep him on the back foot the whole game.
Yeah. So gonna go fetch. I guess could deploy the Surge of Salvation here.
I like
Does
that.
Surge protect you from black and red creatures, or just red creature, or just black creatures?
I believe it's you gain hexproof, and then it's creatures and permanents you control gain hexproof from red and black.
That's what it is.
Believe.
Oh, actually, no.
Hexproof
Prevent
period.
all damage that black and red source would deal to creatures you control this turn. So he does also get a free block, which is pretty sweet.
I have lost to the block before because I always forget about that last part where it's like, oh, you eat all my creatures in combat. No.
Yep. So does actually prevent a good chunk of damage here. Oh, announce no blocks.
Vince another DRC.
Could it? I mean, it was a free block on the Swift Spear. Yeah, or the timing could not have worked out or something.
Modern is one of the more complicated formats.
Yeah.
There's so much going on.
Ooh, that's tricky. Here comes Battlefield Improvisation. Yep. So here we go.
No
Bonk.
blocks have been declared. He's tapped out. I think this game's over. Oh, he's at
No,
16.
no, he's at 16.
Oh, I thought it was
Yeah.
enough.
Nope, it was just not enough.
Wait, is it deep? Oh no. Oh no. If he had one more mana, he would have put it on the Blink Moth. Wait, couldn't he have?
Nope, didn't have the mana to put it on the Ink Moth.
Yeah.
Because it was, so Ink Moth animates itself, so then the construct becomes a 3/3, and then +10, right? +2 from the spell is 15, so Sudeep goes to 1.
So my question is, why didn't he activate the Ink Moth and then Battlefield Improvisation the hammer onto the Ink Moth?
Because that's, oh,
And then attack for Infect.
that's a good question.
You know, I just wanted to make sure I didn't.
No,
see
no, no.
something.
I think you're right. I think that does have enough mana for that. Though actually, no. It's possible that that fetch land can't find
That might be it.
because he has 2 Hallowed Fountains in his hand.
Oh, the pain.
So maybe not doesn't have access to an untapped land there.
Maybe that's why he was shaking the thing. He was like, if I had my fetch land be able to work, I could do this.
Yeah.
Oh, the pain.
That's pain.
Oh, GG's. Both players playing well, and sometimes the cards just they land in the favor of the opposite. And Corey Steelcutter doing the Lord's work.
Yep.
And swapping over to a bunch of smiling, laughing, beautiful faces. David versus Alex, energy, affinity. Any thoughts going into game 3 on this?
Well, so we watched this last time, and I was like, surely, affinity is a little bit favored here. But then David had just like a bunch of like ridiculous sideboard cards against affinity, and made the matchup look easier than I would have expected. So let's see if David still has those sideboard cards. Like I think there was like a meltdown. Oh no, it was Wrath of the Skies.
Oh,
David had a Wrath of the Skies. He is on it this week. Yeah, he's got 2 again. Okay, so Yeah. So there are. Ooh, the Sun Cleanser is back into play also. So David has a pretty stacked sideboard against Affinity, like randomly two Wear Tears, two Wrath of the Skies, and a Stony Silence. But the thing is, sometimes you can just Alex can deploy a really early Kappa Cannoneer and just completely go to town on that.
Yeah, and the Ward 4 on that and the unblockable just takes over games so quickly.
Yeah, David is never paying the ward. Never ever probably. Because by the time David has 5 mana in order to target the Kappa and give it and pay the ward, he's almost assuredly dead.
Oh yeah, definitely. And in David's spot, he definitely wants to be the aggressor. And this is kind of how Goblins plays too. Low to the ground, pressure your opponent, play like hate pieces, almost prison style effects, and then just see if your opponent can play through your sideboard cards.
Exactly. So not sure which player is on the play here. That'll probably matter quite a bit. Oh, Alex is. All right.
Traditional
So,
affinity start.
yep. So
Who needs lands?
bunch of stuff. Play Tamio. Okay. Play Emery. Okay, this is a pretty good start, one would say.
And Alex just being the master of deadpan here. No reaction.
He's like,
Whenever I play him in a top eight, or the times that I played him in a top eight, it's always, oh, this hand is horrible. I guess I win.
yeah. Flipping the Ravager also off the Emery is pretty sick.
That's insane.
So
The face on David right now, just being like, hey, I'm supposed to have all this stuff.
because it's like you can. Okay, so what are we gonna do? We're gonna play the last card in our hand, which is cranial plating.
Oh
Okay,
my
that's
God.
fine. So
Can I tell you a tale of a cranial plating?
yeah, put the cranial plating on Tamio. How much damage is this already?
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah, don't equip the Ornithopter.
So it's 4 on just the. He has 4 creatures total, or
Yep.
four artifacts total. 5 actually.
5 actually, because now you can play the Ornithopter for free.
So that's 5, just the Tamio.
Yep, just the Tamio coming in for 5. And oh no,
Is it more?
6, because you make a clue when you attack. So
Quite strong.
yep.
And I actually remember my buddy Kyle, shout out to Kyle, he won the RCQ at the Boar's Hat recently.
Oh nice.
And he was talking about how affinity lists have been debating whether or not cranial plating is worth it. And this is actually a reason why they've been trying it, is because you can get these hyper aggressive hands like we used to get with affinity, but you put it on a Tamio and then it just replaces all the cards you lose.
Right.
It's like when you play those cards in conjunction, it just gets so much better. And David's forced to shatter here. But what does he shatter?
The cranial plating. Well,
You-
no, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
It's so bad.
Yeah, this is not a good situation.
Emery is a busted card.
Emery is a pretty good card, yeah. So fetch shock for something. Wear tear, I guess. So we're casting wear tear. Yep, destroy the cranial plating.
That makes sense.
It slows Alex down a little. Yeah. Block. David is just going to gain 1, make a cat. So do what you got to do. Take some game actions.
You have to. You at this point, from David's perspective, you have to just try
Yeah.
to play your game plan and hope that you don't just die. But I feel like you just die.
Yeah, because activate Emery, put the cranial plating back into play, swing for 7 now, assuming that's not a free artifact in Alex's hand.
Yeah, my brother Cole saying air quotes affinity is dead.
Oh, and it is a free spell. Okay. So yep, get back the plating, play it for 2, equip it to Tamio. That's 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 8 damage flying. And you may as well attack with the Memnite, I guess, because it just trades with cat
Are
token.
you gonna trade with your cat? It's your only thing.
Yeah.
Like that's really tough. And yeah,
He's just gonna take it. So it takes 9.
probably hoping for that meltdown or the Wrath of the Skies.
Yeah, I would definitely trade.
I agree.
So Wrath of the Skies X equals 1 I guess is impactful, but still is.
I think his Wear Tear was the only card that he had that impacted the board.
Yeah. Well, so Galvanic Blast, right, can answer
Hmm.
Tamio for a turn.
Yeah, that's true.
And meanwhile, gonna build a pretty big board on the ground.
Start attacking.
Yeah, attack for 1, because again, gain your 1 life, make your cat.
Not quite ascended yet. Gonna be too short after the trigger
Yep,
resolves.
too short of the city's blessing. But here, Alex gets to um, rebuy Ravager. And if you rebuy
Oh.
Ravager
Oh
here,
no.
even if you're galvanic blasting the cranial plating, right, or you're not galvanic blasting, galvanic discharging the Tameo, if you have the Ravager is going to threaten to just turn one of the
One-
Ornithopters into a lethal flyer as well,
Yeah,
or get a Memnite.
I think that he might
Well,
be.
what did he draw? Oh, turn your Mycosynth Garden into a copy of Cranial Plating. Put that on your Ornithopter.
2 lethal attackers.
Interesting. Okay, that is another way to build 2 lethal attackers. Actually,
That is quite strong.
yep. Galvanic Blast one of them, or
Oh,
discharge one of
wow.
them. Doesn't matter.
And no, I guess I win.
Oh, you guys got a little bit of a smirk
There we
going
go,
on.
there
Got a
we
little
go.
bit of a smirk.
Yeah. Well, you got Dom over there. Dom has to make him smile. That's his
Yeah,
job.
yeah.
Shout out to both these legends. Well
Great.
played.
That was insane. So I guess, even if you have all the sideboard cards in the world, if your affinity opponent goes and says, I'm just going to put all my cards on the table on turn 1, and then I'm going to draw heaters for 3 straight turns, you're not coming back from that. So
Yeah.
GG's. We'll be back in a little bit for round 2. But first, for singles and more, buy, sell yours at nerdragegaming.com. Take it away, Jack.
If you need to get rid of some old cards, if you want to get some new cards, there's only one store that you need to go to, and that's nerdragegaming.com for all of your singles.
Okay.
And we've also got the Nerd Rage Championship Series coming up. Can you believe it? It's almost time for the Chicagoland Chicagoland event, 10K Modern Showdown. You win that, you're gonna get an invite to champs, and you're gonna get a token made in your likeness. And there's also going to be a 5K standard trial to play in on Sunday. Both of the formats are super fun. Build a Corey Steelcutter deck and play both days. Easy. And then coming up at the end of June, there's going to be another show in Indianapolis. It's going to be a double showdown. Main event on Saturday is going to be Team Sealed. You're going to play Final Fantasy with 2 of your greatest friends or enemies. And then on Sunday, you can play a standard showdown once again. Final Fantasy will be legal at that point, but I suspect Corey Steelcutter decks will still be pretty good. So invest in Corey Steelcutter stocks on the rise. And of course, all the showdown winners receive a custom token by Inkling Customs. This could be you. You could join the likes of Dom Harvey, Mae French, Sean Gallagher, Theo Young, Nikachu, and the others whose names I can't read at this distance. Justin Brickman, Matthew Hoey, and pals. This could be you. So Ty and Ken are the other 2. And then, start to visualize. Think of yourself as you're preparing for the tournament, what token you would want to be. That's the most important part of tournament prep for any energy.
It's true.
Anyway, all that being said, we'll be back in a little bit, so don't go anywhere. Hello again. Welcome to round 2. It's time for more modern. Woohoo! It's so exciting. Let's get on to it. We've got
Forgot to hit update. That's the
well,
standard.
Will's on the right playing tight.
We know Will. We know Will well, member of Team Flex Lot. And then up against a newcomer,
Jason.
Jason, the legend.
Another prowess deck. So Jason going on a mull to 6, Will keeping 7.
Amulet versus Prowess, just in overall high level, what do you think is going to happen in this matchup?
I don't know. Chips in the night.
Chips in the night. I was going to say very much so the same thing. I think that Amulet's going to go really fast, and the only thing that's going to matter is if Izek can go faster.
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate. I don't know that, especially in game 1, there's a ton of interaction that Izzet is going to be putting up against Amulet. So we'll see what. So Will's going to start here. Forest, Grazer, Saga.
Beautiful start.
Pretty good start.
You get to activate your construct right out of the way. It's like, even if you don't have your amulet, you're going to be grinding pretty well.
Yep.
And you go off in turn 3 when your
Ooh.
amulet comes off.
Bobble yourself. The best way to determine if you want to play a fetch land or a non-fetch land.
Quite well played.
Yep. I love that method. I especially like it when I'm doing it, because
Yeah.
I'll go like, all right, perfect, and then I'll play the wrong land and be like, damn it. Okay, fetch away my own card. No big deal. So here we go. Vesuva coming down as a copy of Saga off of an Explorer. Didn't have another land to put into play.
That probably tells me the Explorer was cast without a third land and the Vesuva was the draw.
Could also be that just casting the Explorer for a cycling purpose is sandbagging some number of bounce lands, waiting for Amulet to be in play, which will happen next turn.
That makes sense. Crashing in with the Tameo for
Yep.
0 damages.
Attack for 0, block anyway.
I always pick. Oh, very well played. It's about the principle.
Yeah,
Oh,
you were incentivized to block the Tameo because you could get Kaido'd.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So we're floating a mana. Gonna go get a 1-drop artifact. It could be it could be Expedition Map. It could be it's Amulet. Yeah, that makes sense.
Amulet's very strong here. Yeah, I think that if Will has 1 bounce land, he might be in pretty good shape.
I think if he has 1 bounce land, he plays Titan, right?
No.
Yeah, because he has.
Oh,
Oh no,
yeah.
no, he has more than 1 bounce land.
it's very close. We would have access to 5. But
So 3 mana is Spelunking. Okay.
and now if there's a bounce land,
Oh, explaining how the interaction between Amulet and Spelunking works.
so you have to choose. You don't get both.
Yep.
So Will can either elect for the lands to enter untapped, or for them to enter tapped, and then the trigger will go on the stack. One is better? Question mark.
Yep.
Would you prefer to have them tapped, or would you? Because multiple amulets stack, whereas multiple spelunkings do not.
Correct.
So it's better, like in the beginning, to allow the spelunking to happen, and then afterwards to elect for the triggers for the amulets to happen.
Right. Yeah, because you want them to enter tapped and get untapped with Amulet, right? So we're gonna have this enter untapped, and then we're gonna cast an Explorer. Bounce land bouncing itself. So we have made no land drops per turn. We put a land into play with the Spelunking.
So 2 land drops left.
2 land drops remain.
Access to possibly 4 mana, 6 if there's a Lotus.
Yep.
No, that's not true. If there's a pass over
Pass turn.
from Will,
Interesting. So next turn, when Vesuva Saga goes off, then things can get really wacky, right? Because you can have the land enter untap or tapped, untap it with Amulet 1, and then untap it with Amulet 2.
Yeah, and this is kind of just to show Will would be playing towards the construct line if his hand was not the greatest, but he's playing towards a I will kill you line, which is kind of a tell to Jason to you got to kind of like pick up the pace here a little bit because you're seeing some things are going to come down the pipeline pretty quick that you're not going to be able to answer.
Right?
Making
So
another
blocking
clue.
again, playing the Kaido tax. I don't think the Izzet Prowess deck is playing Kaido, but Demir plays Kaido, so Kaido is like a real card in Modern.
Grixis Kaido.
Oh, Grixis Kaido. That's what I'll build. I'll build Grixis Kaido.
You'll be thinking, oh, it's Murktide. Oh, it's got to be
No.
Delirium. No.
Nope, it's Kaido. You're getting Kaidoed.
And then you're like, oh no,
I'm
please.
gonna return my Ragavan to my hand and ninjutsu in this Kaido.
Too strong.
Because you deal the damage with Ragavan, steal their card, make a treasure, then Kaido. So sick. You can Kaido after damage, yeah.
When I learned that, I was like, why doesn't everybody know this? This should be like the only way this card is played,
Right?
right? You should be like, take the damage, unless like the creature that you're bouncing is smaller, right? I guess that's fair. That's a good point. The creature is usually smaller.
So here comes 6 mana for Primeval Titan. Counterspell?
Ooh,
Counterspell. Actual effectual counterspell? Okay.
remember the days before Counterspell in Modern?
No. I played, but I don't really remember them. I guess what did you play? You had like Remand, Mana Leak was played
It was
sometimes?
Mana Leak. It was if you wanted to play a Counterspell, it was either Mana Leak or you had to play like actual Essence Scatter. Or
No
like,
one played
no
Essence
one- no one
Scatter.
played, like-
no one played Essence Scatter. Good.
No one's veto wasn't out. No, it was like people played Remand, people played Mana Leak. Counter Magic really wasn't
Counter
good.
Magic was like not a thing.
Yeah, it was like people sometimes played spells or
Oh, Spell Snare.
yeah, Spell Snare was
Spell
a
Snare
thing.
was weird. Was real.
And it was like Snapcaster Mana
Spell
Leak.
Pierce was real.
Spell Pierce was a thing, and then it was really just like Mana Leak, Snap, Mana Leak. That was legit, like what they did. I remember when Archmage's charm was printed, they were like, "Oh my God, we have an upgraded Counterspell." 3-mana Counterspell used to be a big deal. Now it's 2 mana.
Speaking of Counterspell, Jason has backup Counterspell.
This might be a grind. We might be here for a while.
Oh, Unified Will was a Counterspell in
There we
Humans
go.
and Spirits. Oh, and my favorite Counterspell,
Supremo, was
Supremo,
played.
yeah.
That was an Hour of Devastation.
mine was Sage's Dousing. You could. It's the Merfolk Counterspell.
Yeah.
Sage's Dousing. It's a mana leak that gets cheaper if you control a wizard, and when you cast it, you draw a card.
I like.
Sage's
Oh,
Dousing.
that's what it was. They used to have
Yeah.
to play Cryptic Command.
Cryptic Command.
That was the best counter spell in Modern. Remember the days when we had to play Cryptic Command?
Yep.
Snap Cryptic Command was an actual thing.
Yep.
Because we have Counterspell. How? No. That's so true. Okay, so
Anyway, back to the game
game.
at hand. We're making lots of mana. We have a grazer, so now we have 8 mana. Jason notably had a counterspell in hand, but didn't get a second land off of the expressive. So probably not going to be countering this 6-drop Titan on the way here.
Yeah.
So this almost assuredly ends with Will winning the game. There's a bunch of different lines you can take. There's like looping a bunch of hasty Aftermath analysts. There's the sort of more straightforward give your guy haste vigilance. This is the mirror pool line. Okay.
Yeah, if I'm Will here, my opponent's tapped out, and we're in game 1. I kind of just want to go over their head as much as possible.
Yeah.
So you're just like, I will demonstrate a loop. Do you have no responses? Okay, I'm gonna make Infinite Titans.
Yep.
I'm gonna get all the lands out of my deck, and eventually, while talking, your opponent's just going to be. Cole knows me too well.
Yeah.
But yeah, Infinite Titans is going to allow Will to basically get to a point in this game where Jason has to concede. Even
Yep.
if he doesn't have the ability to kill him this turn, the game is over.
The game is very much over at this point. So float as much mana as you please with this Lotus trigger, Lotus Field trigger on the stack. Sacrifice your Lotus Field and your forest. Yep, your mirror pool goes in the graveyard, becomes another Titan.
I remember Swan Song. I just remembered. We're going back to the game.
Oh, Swan Song.
That was my contribution. But
Swan
that,
Song.
that was
Yep.
Theros, so that was like relatively recently anyway. It's like that's like
Relatively recent Theros.
well, that was I'm so sorry.
The original Theros definitely came out over a decade ago.
Oh, I loved original Theros. That was so fun.
Yep. So
Um,
Echoing Deep's going to come into play, going to copy Mirror Pool. So basically what's going to happen is this over and over and over and over again until there's all these Titans that you could ever have. And eventually they'll get haste, and eventually Jason will concede.
Yeah.
or we'll take lethal damage from hasted Titans.
Well, and I think that this is how you kind of want to play it if you will, because you don't want to take a line that like like leaves you short on mana. It doesn't want to like you don't want to just go for the hasty attack line and try to deal 18 because
Mhm.
there's a billion ways that goes wrong.
Right.
If you take this, there's a lot of like room for you to make a mistake or for Jason to have something, but you've just done so many unfair things. You're in a position where the game is effectively over, and that's where we
Right.
are right now.
And basically just kind of like fanning through his deck and being like, this is what I'm going to do. Showing him the Hanowar battlements, saying that like all these infinite Titan tokens are also going to get infinitely hasted.
Guttural response. It's the last.
Guttural, that's the last
one.
one.
That's the last one.
Can you name another red counterspell?
Oh, another red counterspell.
There's two that I can think of besides guttural response.
Besides guttural response?
Yep.
We're not counting redirect targets. That doesn't work.
Nope, that doesn't work.
I don't know. I don't know any of them.
Well, there's Tybalt's Trickery,
Oh,
just technically a counterspell. And there's
That's
also
true.
Molten Influence.
okay. I also thought Jessica's will, but yeah.
Ooh,
no.
someone in chat got it. Molten Influence and Tybalt's Trickery. Anyway, Amulet Titan. um,
This sideboard looks pretty good. I would say, like, overall, your opponent's going to be playing an aggressive low to the ground deck. You're going to treat this like a Boros energy matchup almost. Your
Mhm.
opponent's going to have counterspells, but honestly, I don't think this deck cares about counterspells like we saw. You play through them, you just chuck your big dumb things in, and sometimes that just wins.
so, you can be looking. Collector Oof might be something here, but it also might be a trap. Like your Core Steel Cutters are equipping for free. It blanks the Baubles, which is like not completely irrelevant, but also maybe is too slow. Vampire's Vengeance as a Pyroclasm might be okay.
Fiery,
Tireless Tracker.
fiery Cannonade's good.
Fiery Cannonade is good. Yep. Bajuka Bog might not be so bad in situations where you have to clear out your opponent's graveyard, clearing Delirium. I don't know.
What do you trim here? I think I'd probably look at some like the more fair cards.
Yeah, this list is also not exactly what Will is playing. So this list here has Malevolent Rumbles. Will was playing Explorers. So
No, that makes sense. Definitely. I like bringing in all the removal and then just being like, okay, I play the bigger deck. We just got to get to the late game. We're winning.
that's true. You can, as long as you can disrupt the early game, you have a lot more inevitability. You just want to dodge around some counter spells and so on and so forth. And even then, maybe you don't really care about the counter spells because, like you said, you essentially are playing 8 Titans, or I guess this version is playing 7 Titans, with the Summoners packs. And you got the Aftermath Annals loops, Cultivator Colossus loops. Well, I guess he doesn't loop. He's like a Titan. He does a Titan impression basically.
I remember in an RCQ I played against, I saw my Amulet Titan player. They did the thing, but instead of grabbing a Primeval Titan, they grabbed a Cultivator Colossus, and I looked at them and I said, well, that means you have all lands in hand. And they flashed me all lands. And then they began.
Yep, and then, and then they began.
I was like, okay. It was a good time. So I think yeah. And then
We can do it as a Browse again.
for sure.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Same exact thing. I think you're gonna bring in probably the
Surgical is good. Consigned to Memory is honestly not bad here. Countering the triggered abilities of the Titan is pretty important. Them leaving behind a 6/6 with Trample that still triggers when it attacks is not great.
that's tough.
But sometimes you have a 1 mana way to like just not die immediately.
It stops Amulet too, so
You're never counter. Well, I guess on the play you might counter an Amulet.
yeah. But it's only turn 1. It's not gonna be the greatest.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
We'll see. Aether Gust is kind of like a counterspell. I would count it as a counterspell.
Does that count as pre-counterspell era? I don't know when it came out.
That was M15.
That was before Modern Horizons 2, yeah.
Yeah. That was a good card. I remember when that card came out, and everyone was crazy about that.
Yeah, no, I played this
Now I don't
Titan.
Yeah, you're like, put that Titan on top.
put the Titan on top.
Or so help me. Is that prowess not? Oh yeah, no. I feel like counter magic is kind of one of those things where that like in the beginning, right? We really didn't have any. I remember when Tarkir came out and Death Shadow got access to what was it, Stubborn Denial,
Stubborn denial.
and that was a huge deal because it was one mana like counter any non-creature. Um,
People playing negates back in the day,
yeah.
even before
Well,
Dovin's video,
wait,
you
wait.
had to
So,
get away with negate.
so that might have been what I was thinking about. Not Essence Scatter was played, but actual factual negate.
Negate was definitely played, but yeah,
Which is crazy to think about.
I
Like,
don't think Essence Scatter was ever played, or Remove Soul, which also I don't know if Remove Soul is even modern legal.
is that a 2 mana counterspell that exiles?
No, Remove Soul is just what they used to call Essence Scatter. So Remove
Oh,
Soul was
sure.
what they called it
That's cool.
Uh,
That's really cool.
once upon a time, and then they changed it to Essence Scatter.
It's
I
insane.
can't remember when they first printed Essence Scatter. I think it was Amonkhet, maybe.
No,
It was printed in Amonkhet.
yeah, it was printed in
Oh, maybe it was M10.
because I remember it was a really old set. Because it's been in
M10. Yep.
good call. I love that old art, the birds flapping.
Yep.
Turn one Tamio and then turn one Amulet. Both these players have pretty good starts here.
Those are good. Those are both cards that you want to see in your turn one for both of these decks. Will's choice of basics is also really peak. I really like those forests. It's a good forest. Maybe I'll get it for 1 or 0, I should say. One clue token.
I always pick up my pen. And then
It's hard. It's hard to break the habit of like, oh, a creature's attacking me. Pick up the pen. All right. Aftermath Analyst. Mill cards, and then later you can sacrifice it to return all of your lands in your graveyard to the battlefield. So this is part of another loop where you're generating a bunch of mana and constantly refreshing your graveyard, and then constantly returning those to the battlefield, so on and so forth.
Yeah,
This is also big and standard for like a hot minute
Oh.
when the new Capenna fetch lands were legal.
It was so cool watching that deck work, and I think that like Lotus Field is the card that makes the Aftermath Analyst even possible
Right.
because it sacks all the lands and they go right back to the graveyard, and then you bring them right back for more ETB triggers. It's kind of crazy.
I was really excited to play the Analyst deck at Energy when I had the standard seat, and my teammates told me that actually it took place the weekend of rotation, so I would not be playing Analyst.
Oh, that's so painful. You were like prepped and ready, and you're like, I have the testing.
Yeah, I
ready
was
to
like, I've been playing
go."
this on Arena, and they're like,
Sorry,
that's not gonna work.
get it out of here.
I was like, you don't think it's good? Or I was like, it's just not. You should look at what cards are legal when this energy happens.
Yeah, like please. It's tough when your favorite deck like I'm gonna lose Horde Master eventually, and we're gonna have to try to figure out what to do in Standard. But the good thing is we have so many playables right now.
They'll keep printing goblins.
You know what? In the past 4 sets, we've gotten good goblins, so I'm not gonna complain.
Ooh, unstable amulet. That's a cool one.
Oh, remember when Unstable Amulet was played? I remember. I think it was you were playing an
I
Unstable
played it. I
Amulet
played
for
it.
a while.
I was playing an unstable amulet deck, and then they banned Amped Raptor. Amped Raptor died, or unstable amulet decks died for Amped Raptor's sins.
Well,
Because this was like a party Viashino
yeah,
Inti mono red deck. It was sweet. It was not particularly good.
it
but
was so fun.
It was really fun.
You beat up my goblins deck all the time. It was so cool.
Because I was exiling all these cards off the top of my
Yeah.
library. It was awesome. That deck was sweet.
And then Guide of Souls was the reason why Amtraptor died.
Yeah, that's true. Guide of Souls maybe is the real culprit here. Amped Raptor was just a 2-drop.
Yeah, your deck died for the sins that died for the sins of Guide of Souls.
So Will could potentially have quite a pop-off turn next turn because gets to fetch an amulet with the Urza Saga, turn Mycosynth Garden into an amulet. Saying that the mono red energy deck was bad. It was bad, but it was fun.
It was so fun.
It was fun. Sometimes it's okay to play a deck that's bad, even if it's fun.
I think that modern is more. I think Magic in general is more fun. You see this the most in EDH when you give yourself a stipulation and you say, "Hey, I'm not going to do the best thing, but I'm going to do like the most fun thing this week." and you just like have more fun playing your thing. And it's not a permanent thing. Maybe you don't do it forever, but for that little period of time, you're just having fun.
Yeah, back in Maine, there was a person who played a deck every week at locals built around a like you win the game card,
Okay.
and they did that until they won a match. And sometimes it took a couple of weeks to win a match with because some of the you win the game cards are very bad
Yeah. No,
in 60 card like modern formats,
competitive.
right?
Yeah. It's like
Anyway, back to this game. So Jason now played the expressive iteration, found another land, so possibly holding up counterspell. Definitely respecting that Will's next turn could be pretty explosive.
yeah, and making a construct because that's basically free, and Will in a position now where you know he wants to force action and making another construct because again this is kind of free, right? You get that amulet, it's the second amulet you have, and now you're able to make so much mana. Thinking.
Oh, Jason is considering taking some sort of game action before the saga goes off.
Yeah. So he decided to make a construct. Now before he fetches,
What's Jason up to? What's Jason thinking? Oh, could be looking to lightning bolt or galvanic discharge one of those tokens while it's a 3/3 before it becomes a 4/4.
or the aftermath. So well, there's no mana.
Yeah,
So
I mean, there's not going to be mana for the whole turn though, right? Well, I guess yeah, because before a bounce land comes into play.
yeah, well, and then they also have the response to the trigger. So
Right.
there's a bunch of windows here. Jason doesn't have to play all out. Can play it pretty reserved and just wait for the window to interact. Will, on the other hand, abundance of issues or abundance of options. The issue is which to pick.
Yep. So okay, Simic Growth Chamber coming on the stack, gonna generate 2 blue, 2 green. Gonna transmute to Laria West, so leaving 1 green behind. Using the Dom Harvey token, makes sense.
Shout out to the legend.
Yep. Titan player, Titan enjoyer, Dom Harvey.
Lands enthusiast won the entire weekend, I believe.
He did. So he actually that was in Minneapolis last year. He won the showdown on Saturday and then the challenge on Sunday.
With both decks being like I believe more than the normal amount of lands, right? Like Amulet plays a billion lands. Yeah,
Oh yeah, because it was lands and legacy. Right, because it was. That's pretty sweet.
Played Roxanne.
the lands
Oh
master.
yeah, Roxanne the making meteorite tokens.
It's such a crazy card, and I think that you know, being when Boros eventually inevitably comes back to the top, when they print
Like
more.
now.
Yeah, exactly. I think that like having those more efficient mid-range cards that can like be removal and a threat at the same time are just gonna naturally rotate back. Um, so I'm interested to see how that progresses. Now this unstable amulet has a DRC under it. Are you incentivized to play that?
I mean, potentially you can if you play the Darcy and then one of your free spells, you're certainly going to be churning through a ton of your deck. Yeah, that makes sense. And then the constructs are 4/4s, so you're mounting some sort of defense here. It is a lot of islands for a prowess deck, so don't need a backup Tamio, don't need a backup Darcy. Has a Corey Steel Cutter they can deploy also. Gonna use 2 more energy, so you go spinning. Blood Moon. Okay, that's a pretty good one.
That's a good card.
That would explain the basic islands for sure.
Now the question is, do you want to go all in on this Blood Moon?
I think this is a
Slam it.
pretty good position for Blood Moon. We know Will has at least one basic forest in hand, so if you're deploying the Blood Moon, you could be worried about channeling. Not Odawara, the other one,
That's,
Seiju. Yeah,
Yep.
that comes into play tap because it's a mountain.
that makes sense.
So just gonna fly over for 3. Looks like he is forgetting the unstable amulet triggers.
2
Yeah,
damage.
so that should be 2, or yeah, 2 upstairs to Will, or 1 and then 1.
Hmm.
Looks like
Cultivator Colossus on top.
I think it was either Cultivated Colossus or Forest.
Pretty dark art.
Yeah.
Definitely not. We're probably not gonna see it through that Blood Moon. We're gonna have to figure out how to navigate towards a position where he can either use a Beseiju or an Otawara.
Or just beat with constructs. Having a pair of
Oh.
4/4s is yeah, just yep. I'll chump block here, take 4.
And this is probably a nod to Will expecting a Blood Moon coming down and just being like, oh, I'll make 2 dudes play through it. The one that took the damage gets shot.
Actually, no, he shot the other one because so the unholy heat is big enough to take down the 4/4, and then so the 4/4 dies, and then the other 4/4 gets shrunk to a 3/3 with 3 damage on it, so takes out both constructs.
That's so cool.
Very cool. Very cool stuff. So now Jason is in a pretty good position. Probably can ride this Blood Moon to victory. Really just kind of has to dodge. Ooh, Corey Steelcutter.
I think it's just Force of Vigor here. That's the only thing that you really have to worry about if you're Jason, right?
Force of Vigor, and then Beseiju.
Mm-hmm.
Because, you know, Will could play Forest, channel Beseiju, have a bunch of mana, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And we know that Will got a Summoner's Pact off of the Tolarian West, not the Tolarian Academy. Definitely not a card that is available in Modern for players, Tolarian Academy.
Did he do that last turn, or was it before the Blood Moon?
Before the Blood Moon. It was, yeah.
Yeah,
It was the turn he played the Simic Growth Chamber.
So really good sequencing, or really lucky sequencing, having the Blood Moon there, making sure that, or not making sure, but being able to not worry about the Tolaria being channeled for the Beseiju, instead knowing that it's grabbing a Summoner's Pact.
So flip Tameo. Yep, because drew for turn, drew off Bauble, and then ate one of the clues. So Tameo is now flipped.
And beats begin.
Yep.
Swinging in for 3, and passing it over.
Jason also drew a counterspell off of that clue token, which is pretty good. So there's Forest. 1 mana for another amulet. Yep.
And, you know, if there was a Beseiju, I believe he would have Besaged there and then tried to go off, because Jason probably presents lethal this following turn.
With the Corey Steelcutter, there's definitely a possibility, right? Though could be playing it conservatively because Will's still at 11.
Yeah.
And Jason has attuned the narrative, which could help to chain into other spells, but needs to tap out of counterspell range to do that. So you really have to make sure that you kill Will.
Yeah, that makes
Has
sense.
the Galvanic Blast, or Galvanic Discharge rather. So there you could set up a line where you're Galvanic Discharging one of your own guys for 0 just to get a spell on the stack, and then refueling some energy for your amulet.
Yeah, I like that.
Or we're going to kill the Aftermath Analyst. I guess that is also a target, come to think of it.
Surveil trigger. Thinking. Leaves it on top. Thinks
Tune is an instant, yeah. It's instant, draw a card, make 2 energy.
1 energy left over.
Second Blood Moon, okay.
Ooh, that's pretty strong.
Yep. So second Blood Moon.
This will be 5. No. Yeah, 5.
Yep, 5.
Currently.
You could play the Tune, make it 6. Oh, I guess they probably hit the Aftermath Analyst for 1, so they had 2 energy to activate. Or, no, hit the Aftermath Analyst for 0. They had 2 energy to activate the amulet.
Oh, okay. No, that makes sense. So, I think that if Will had a Beseiju, would you sandbag it to the end step?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Mm.
Yep. So taking 5, going to 6, untaps. Might just be dead to Blood Moon here.
That does happen sometimes.
It does happen.
Modern is notorious for having cards that just somehow shut you out. Oh, has mana to... Oh, 1 short of casting an actual Titan.
Just casting a Titan
Ooh.
for real manas. Unholy Heat, your Aftermath Analyst. So activate it. Response. Get a mountain back. Yep. Saga doesn't come back. Well, Saga comes back,
And then feels bad
then feels bad.
and leaves the party.
Yep. Toliara West comes in as a tapped mountain and then becomes untapped amulets. Eat a clue. I guess just seeing more of Jason's deck. I can't imagine what Will has here that doesn't result in him being dead.
Vampire's Vengeance is 3 mana. Yeah.
Yeah, Vampire's Vengeance. Also, Vampire's Vengeance doesn't kill the Darcy, and it doesn't kill the monk after one spell.
That's painful. That's pretty bad.
I guess what would be sick is we can't see Will's hand, but would be sick is Force of Vigor, get both Blood Moons, have 4 mana, channel Odawara, bounce one of your guys. That would obviously be sick. So get to it more energy. 2 amulets to activate. I think we've so far missed 3 damage.
And this is when these amulets kind of just turn into lightning bolts that draw you cards.
Right?
It's like a 1 mana colorless artifact that draws you a card, and then 1 mana deal a damage every time you cast a spell. Like it's
Yep.
If you rate it out, it's kind of insane.
Yeah, because so right now that was an attack for 5, so it brings Will to 2. So okay, yeah, plays the Tameo, saw the line.
The burn spell's right there. and
Yep.
It does the work.
Play the Tameo and get you and kill you.
All right, so now we're going to game 3, and Double Blood Moon's pretty bad spot for Amulet. Be honest. Is there a card that you don't want to see more than Blood Moon in this matchup? I think it's like Blood Moon, then Dampening Sphere. Like what else really like?
Yeah, Damping Sphere maybe. Blood Moon has got to be the worst though, right?
Yeah.
Because you're a Lance deck, so Blood Moon is not what you want to see.
And 2 of them, Force of Vigor is good, but it's
Two of them is good. Yeah, because if there was a Beseiju there, you can start to claw your way out of it. But double Blood Moon means that it has to be Force of Vigor or double Beseiju. And honestly, I don't know if Will has that.
Yeah.
Jason thumbing some meltdowns to the front. Ooh, okay, interesting.
In my experience, it's been really painful when you bring in Meltdown in this against this current deck because they just have Spelunking. They go turn 1 Arboreal Grazer, put a bounce land in, bounce your other land, then turn 2 they just cast Spelunking. Don't even need the amulet anymore.
Yeah, it's tempting to try to fight the amulets with the meltdowns, but I think meltdown might have been good there to catch multiple amulets, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if meltdown is an efficient way to deal with amulets. I could be completely wrong, to be fair, but sorcery speed removal is definitely weaker than instant speed.
Yeah, no, and like in any situation, you want to be able to answer it on their turn, right? Like Will plays a bounce land, right? In response to the trigger, you want to be able to deal with it in case there's an explorer or something.
Right, like consign actually I think would be a better answer here because again it doesn't get rid of the amulet, but it does cancel the trigger of the Titan,
Yeah.
which is again what you're trying to do is like not die.
Yeah, you fog for 1 turn, you kill them.
Right.
Yeah.
And maybe it looks like Jason also took 2 cards out, so maybe they were like, actually, I don't think I want meltdown. So we'll see. We'll see if they play and cast a meltdown, and there could be a place where like Will has double amulets in play and is waiting to like untap and win, and Jason is like meltdown for 1 and completely gets him. So this could be totally like a 5-head move that is like way ahead of like where my vision of this matchup is.
And that's the crazy thing about sideboarding is it's a mini game inside of a game.
Right. There's the like, what am I gonna do? What's good in the matchup? But what also do I think that my opponent won't suspect?
I just love bringing in Chalice and Leyline. You just go Chalice and Leyline. What are you gonna do? Oh, it's not good against you. Okay, I'll write that in the notebook. Looks like Will's going to 6 here. Jason snap keep. Will probably just wants to make sure that before that Blood Moon comes down is able to just end the game.
Yeah, definitely wants to end the game before the Blood Moon for sure.
and has the ability to. This deck is.
Yeah, it's a turn 2 deck. Well, it can be a turn 2 deck.
I feel like it's a turn 2 deck. Actually watched my buddy Julian turn 2 somebody on the play. His opponent played Monastery Swift Spear attack for 1. It was Sadeep actually.
Oh, was
He
it?
was playing his Is It Prowess deck, and Julian was like, "Okay, well, I just kill you because 3 lands Scape Shift wins now."
Oh, yeah, that's true. So, okay. So we're going to go Crumbling Verge, or Crumbling Vestige, rather, into Amulet. Look at the top card of your library, sure. It's Titan.
Recognize that art anywhere. Haunts me in my dreams. It's too good. It's crazy. I would never have thought that a 6-drop would be too good in Modern, and I'm actually saying I think like it's never gonna get banned. But when I watch it get played on turn 2 and just win the game, I'm like, wow, this card is too good for Modern.
Yeah. The 6-drop isn't the problem. Yeah. The Titan is definitely not the problem. It's definitely the 1-mana artifact. I would agree with that.
That's a great take. That's a really good take.
Uh,
Shout out to chat.
because even though it's called, Amulet Titan, and Titan is a really efficient thing to do and to get all these lands out here, but the thing that's letting you cheat is the Amulet of Vigor.
It's a good point.
And nobody is using the copy pasta about Amulet has remained tier 0, blah blah blah, because it's hard to play and something.
Yeah.
I agree that I think it can be hard to play. I'm certainly not going to be out here playing Titan.
Yeah. I love Titan. It was one of the decks that when I really looked at a deck to like pick and like dive into, I really wanted to play Titan, but I feel like there's for me at least, it was one of those things where too many people play it. I much prefer playing goblins because it's like it's something where I can innovate, and there's not a lot of people who are like telling me that I'm wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And I like doing that when I'm brewing because like when you play like a tier deck, there's a lot of like right answers. When you play goblins, there are no right answers. And you just throw the cards at the wall and see what happens. It's fun. And Amulet is a beautiful deck, beautiful lines. Shout out to all of the Titan players out there. Shout out to Dom Harvey for the craziness. But fetching with the Scalding Tarn here.
Yep. So making a clue, fetching for
Surveillance?
probably Surveillant. Oh, I mean here is where Meltdown for 1 actually
It matters.
it could be good. I mean you eat your own clue token, I guess, but
Mm.
also could just be saying like I want to have counterspell up. I want to play a Darcy. I want to play another Darcy. Okay. Yep.
Oh.
That's pretty good. Why is the Bauble exiled? Does it look like the Bauble is exiled to you?
It does very much so look like it is exiled.
It could just be like a quirk. I don't think it's actually exiled, right? Oh yeah, it could be like a delirium counter or something like that.
That makes sense.
So Jason is like, okay, I got all my threats in play, and I'm shields down. Do your worst, Will, because Jason knows that Will has a Titan because Jason saw Will get it from the Bauble.
And now we're watching Will do the math that is
Oh yeah, the tap the table.
we're talking about how hard this deck is to play, and now Will's got to go like 4 lines in the future to be like, okay,
Right.
does this kill?
So make a green mana with the Crumbling Vestige. Make green and blue mana. So 1, 2, 2. So 5 mana total. 4 mana. Scape Shift.
3 lands wins.
3 lands wins.
3 lands wins. Yeah, because you get 2 Lotus Fields and a Mirror Pool, or not a Mirror Pool. I believe he's just gonna get a Field of the, or not a Field of the Dead. I wish Lotus Field and a Vesuva, then probably a bounce land. Then you bounce land, sack all your stuff. You float your mana. Then you get Aftermath Analyst, and I believe you can go off from 3 lands. The question is whether or not he has the pieces he needs in his hand.
Well, he has at least the Titan.
Yeah.
So if you get bounce land, Lotus Field, Mirror Pool, you get 6 mana, right? So you can
Sack
play.
2.
You have to sack 2 of them. You get Titan. Then you can go get up to 4 more mana.
I've watched somebody turn 2 with 3 lands and Scape Shift. I just don't remember what lands he grabbed. So okay, so there's Crumbling Vestige, Bounce Land.
Okay, so this is also 6 mana, right?
Yep.
Because it's Crumbling Vestige makes mana, Crumbling Vestige makes mana, then they both tap for colorless, then the bounce land. So we're going to get 2 mana off the Crumbling Vestiges, then we're going to get colorless.
Yeah, so no Teleria West required because the Titan is already in the hand.
Right.
And
We're going
now
to bounce that. We're going to tap this, leaving.
7.
Yep, we have 7 mana. Probably leave a green behind. Oh, okay. Now we've Spotter Dom has gotten the colored mana pips. So we're gonna go 1 blue mana floating Titan. Oh, looks like one of the cards in Will's hand is um, Mystical Dispute.
Oh.
That would be unexpected from my Titan opponent, I think.
You're like, oh, I'm gonna counter your Titan. No.
So we got a Valakut and Hanowar Garrison. Very good.
No Delirium, so your opponent can't block. You're going to do the thing.
Yep. So use the red mana and the Hanowar Battlements to give the Titan haste. So coming in for 6. Gonna go get 2 more lands. Bounce land Teleria West.
And now we're at the point of the game where able to float 3 mana, 1 from the Teleria West.
This also could just be a huge setup turn, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
So
you're in no danger right now.
So you stocked your battlefield full of permanents, and you're going to untap with a bunch of mana and a Teleria West, so you can do kind of whatever you want. Here comes Meltdown for 1, Expressive Iteration. So double Surveil, yep, been a creature, been an enchantment, yeah, a little late for Blood Moon. Delirium now online though.
And that's 3 lands.
Triple land.
Shout out to Stan in the background, owner of Boar's Hat, and Tales from the Tap co-host. Absolute legend. Got a shout out to legend.
Yep. So yeah, in for 6, keeping Tamiyo on blocking duty. I guess going to absorb 2 damage from the Titan. Though I think Will is set up here to just transmute Teleria West to get a Summoner's Pact to get another Titan, right? And then that.
Yeah, and then after you get the Titan, then you get the Aftermath Analyst mirror pool line, and then you just have infinite Titans again.
I think if you have 2 Titans, you just attack with both of them.
Oh, your opponent's at 11. Yes, yeah, your opponent's at 11. Definitely, you just swing.
Yeah. It's funny because you think of Titan as just very like all in deck, but sometimes you're just like, yeah, I just assembled, a bunch of permanents and I have a 6/6 and I'll, maybe it'll take 2 turns instead of 1, but I'll just attack you and you'll die.
One of my favorite stories was my brother was in the
Oh,
finals.
there's Bog.
And he won with an Inferno Titan in Modern. Just
Ooh, Inferno Titan, sure.
yeah, just like, here, you can't beat this, can you? I was like, damn. Yeah, now trying to figure out,
Yeah, so he could have gone infinite there. What was he playing around? I'm not really sure what he was playing around, but there also could be some amount of like limit testing, right? If you feel that you're in like a really good position, or you're just like, well, what does this line look like if I do this? So we're gonna make blue and green. Gonna use the green, play a Grazer. Trigger Grazer, put Crumbling Vestige. Make another green. Untap. A lot of colorless mana. Use the green. Nope, make blue.
Yeah, and not a lot of green sources here.
Yep.
Just
Transmute
2.
Teleria. Go get Summoner's Pact. Play Summoner's Pact.
And you get Dryad.
Oh, Dryad, sure.
Then on attack,
Oh, then on attack you are Valakutting.
quite good.
Yep, that's pretty good.
And as you said, sometimes you don't need to do anything crazy. Sometimes you just need to play a couple lands, and ETBs are gonna do some work.
Yep, so 3 mana, make a Dryad. Then give your Dryad haste. So now you're coming in for Exacxes? Yeah, you're coming in for 11. Oh, we're not attacking with the Dryad.
Probably
You,
limit testing, as you were saying.
yeah, or it could be worried about a 1 mana rule spell on the Dryad. But if you attack with the Dryad, 2 power from the Dryad plus 6 power from the Titan is 8, and then a lightning bolt upstairs is 11, and then a lightning bolt at the Temio clears the way of the blockers.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
So we're just gonna get
Oh, another.
Cave and a Vesuva. So Vesuva, copy Valakut, and then that's a bunch of triggers.
Is that 12?
Counterspell?
Oh.
Oh, revealing like, I had the counterspell, and then
And
Will
then-
saying, but I've got the dispute. Yep. Still had all these, says Will.
Oh. Well played. Well,
Well
played
played.
by both players. And yeah, that's the crazy thing about Titan, right? If you know what you're doing, you can put yourself in a position where you just need to have one piece of interaction, and you
Yep.
know, didn't even need to use it.
Oh, had a Blood Moon in the hand too, but didn't quite get there.
Really close games.
Very good games. Good games. It's good. It's fun to see different kinds of Titans. Oh, here we go.
Oh, this is a. So we have, I believe that's a Scepter and an Orms chant.
That appears to be a Scepter and an Orms chant. So I would say Jared's probably cleanly in the driver's seat, because there is a active Scepter, but there's also a threat in play in the form of Solitude. So it's just like, yep, during your turn, I'm gonna make it so you can't do anything. And actually,
Jared has 2.
I'm sorry. It looks like Jared has 2 Scepter chants. The Glary cards just underneath the Solitude is another Scepter chant.
Yeah, so looks like Jared taking down game 2, tying it up, going to game 3 here.
Yep.
Yeah, I think that this deck with Scepter Lock. What do you think about Silence in Modern?
I think Silence is cool, and I think Orm's Chant is the bomb. I think Orm's Chant is a really cool card that got added in Modern Horizons 3. I'm really glad to see people putting it on Orm's Chant. That's what it was meant to do,
Yeah.
honestly.
You just put it under the Scepter and you go. You can't cast spells.
You can't cast spells. You can't attack.
I love it. I want to play it in Goblins now. It's like, no,
Bless your heart.
I'm gonna combo. I'm gonna combo. You stop it.
Oh, it looks like Jared probably shuffled Kahira into the deck, so making sure that Kahira lives in the companion zone.
Smart. Yeah,
Azorius Control with 4 Scepters is the George Jabor special.
I think
Truly.
it's the truth. The only thing we need to see is the Narset Days undoing.
The Narset, I did see Narset in Jared's deck. Really the other big thing that has come into fashion is the, what do you call it? The Big Teferi. Big Teferi's back as a 1/of.
5-mana Teferi Hero of Dominaria.
We got some Jace the Mind Sculptors.
Oh.
Players also have really consciously put the round timer. So we're going into game 3 with 3 minutes and 40 seconds on the clock.
That may be consideration to just like, hey, we need to know how fast to play.
Yeah.
We just rather have it here.
No, that makes a lot of sense. Boros Energy obviously going to go fast. Azorius Control, not a fast deck.
Yeah.
I mean, oftentimes the control decks and the control players will take their game actions very fast because you're sort of like, you're more aware of the clock than your opponent is, right? Like control players have this like, oh, they're so slow. It's like, no, it's the opponents who are slow.
Yeah.
I say this as a person who aspires to be a control player, I suppose. I don't know.
Can I make a tweak?
Sure.
Control players take their turns fast, but then they make you take your turn slower.
Okay, fair enough. I don't think control players ever did anything wrong.
I think it's all 50-50. I think that we're playing busted aggro cards and you're playing cards that are trying to stay alive. I think we're all fair.
Yeah, everybody's being fair. I mean, Azorius Control is a fair deck. It is a deck
1000%.
full of, interaction and whatnot.
Is that a Tesa lightsaber?
Oh, maybe. That's pretty cool.
One of the new cards from Tarkir. You ETB second mode on Fable. So you discard up to 2 cards, you draw them many cards, and then when it attacks, if you have 7 more cards from the graveyard, you exile a random card, and then you may cast it for free if you have 7 or more in your graveyard.
So looks like Michael here is going to 5.
Mm.
That's a rough place to get to be against control, because control is really just looking to 1-for-1 you until they turn the corner.
Oh, I said Tesa lightsaber. What is it?
Tursa.
Tursa light shatter. Not Yeah, not taste a lightsaber. I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Lightsaber.
So it's a 3 mana 3/3. Discard two. Well, she's holding a lightsaber.
It does kind of look like she's
That
got like some force lightning going on.
she's
Yeah,
like, you don't know, you can't handle the truth.
yeah. I can see what I can see what you're seeing.
But Tersa Light Shatterer is a 3 mana 3/3 with haste. ETB, discard 2, draw that many. Attack if there's 7 more cards in your graveyard, exile a random. You may play it this turn. Okay, that's a
Yep.
pretty cool card in Boros Energy.
Yep. Okay, so Michael starts off with a 1-drop. Jared starts off with remove your 1-drop, just like you drew it up. And I think Tesa Lightsaber sounds like yeah, that would a Clug Altar for Tesa Lightsaber would be cool. So you pick the Death Trigger Doubler Tesa probably,
Oh hell yeah!
and then she's got a lightsaber.
Sounds very
What
nice.
color lightsaber would Tesa have?
Mm. I'm gonna imagine. Yeah.
Yeah, blue. Well, I could see blue.
Hunting the ghosts.
Yeah, she's a ghost hunter. Blue or green?
A good.
The,
Yeah,
a
a
good guy.
good-
Definitely one of the good guy colors for sure.
I wish I knew more about Star Wars lore. I read a lot, but I need to read more.
About Star Wars.
Well, because
There's
that's the thing is I just don't understand. Like, I wish I could be like, oh yeah, because blue because of this, but I don't know enough to be like
no, it's
because of
vibes.
this.
Just pick a good guy color.
Vibes. There we go. I like vibes.
So anyway, here comes Voice of Victory. This is a new Boros Energy card that's really good against decks like Jared's, which basically says you can't cast spells during my turn. Oh, and by the way, I'm going to bring along 2 1/1 warriors, which is really really good in a deck that also plays Goblin Bombardment because you're getting some use out of those.
Yeah, and Goblin Bombardment makes this deck feel like just a
Oh,
whole
and Goblin
nother animal.
Bombardment is in fact in the hand here.
Oh,
So, Jared, counter your 1-drop, kill your guy. Yep, it's all going to plan. Nope, not that one. This one. Counter your monkey. Counter everything. Oh, looks like this is turn 2. Yep, play Narset.
no drawing for you.
Go find a spell, Supreme Verdict. Yep, Wrathless Guys.
Oh, chat's correct. Teysa would definitely have the dark saber.
Oh, from the Mandalorian.
Yeah.
I could see that.
That'd be
Yeah.
pretty awesome.
Yeah, the dark saber is definitely Orzhov coded.
Yeah. And a
Goblin
Goblin
Bombardment. Nope, spell snare that.
Oh, the pain.
Yep. Turn 4. So here we go.
And this is how sometimes the blue-white control deck goes. Is they're just like, okay, well, these are the first early turns. You just will not
Yeah,
resolve a spell.
snare. Yep. But I mean that's the thing. Like you're gonna 1-for-1 your aggro opponent until you take over the game with a bunch of planeswalkers.
Yep.
So pick up Kahira. Turn 5. Play a static prison. Yep. Resolves.
Draw? Draw.
Draw.
Well, that is how it goes sometimes. Anticlimactic, but Magic can't always be won by one player or the other. Sometimes you can't.
Sometimes we win.
Yeah. Hey, we in the booth, we're the
Yeah,
winners.
we're always winning. Also, we're always losing.
It's true.
See the thing that it's just duality. Anyway, that's it for round 2. We'll be back in a little bit for round 3. But first, if you want to stay in touch, stay connected, you can join the Nerd Rage Gaming Discord. You can scan the QR code on your screen right now, or you can go to the website. There are 2, count them 2 Discords. There is one for the Energy series and also one for the home store. And there's also a whole bunch of stuff here that you can do every week. We're going to run Monday to Saturday. We're not going to start on today. Monday, we're going to go 5 p.m. Magic the Gathering EDH plus Digimon at 6:30. Tuesday is a twofer. You got Lorcana and One Piece at 6:30, and the Lorcana is streamed, I believe, which is pretty cool. So you can watch Lorcana if you want to get into that. It's 6:30 here. Well, no, it's actually 8:30 now. But earlier it was 6:30, and that's when Modern started. Tomorrow there's more Magic EDH at 5, and then 6:30 as Pokemon, which is also streamed. On Friday, 6:30, 3 games kick off at once: One Piece, Magic Legacy, and Magic Standard. Dom likes to call it the Boomer Zoomer night, and we haven't figured out what generation or what to call the One Piece players yet. So I think they're probably also Zoomers. Gen Alpha, yeah. Anyway, so if you know what generation the One Piece players are, just let me know, and we'll add that here. And then wrap it up with Digimon 1 p.m. on Saturday.
Digimon's got 2 events this weekend.
Oh, Digimon has 2 events this weekend also.
Yes, so I think it might might be streamed. I'm not sure.
There might be a stream this Saturday if you want to watch Digimon. Check it out. Stream here. Oh, and it's also worth mentioning all times in Central Standard Time.
Yes.
Or is it Central Daylight Time now? Which is the one that we're in now? Is this Daylight Time or Standard Time? Like, how does Daylight Savings actually
Let us know
work?
in the chat down.
Yeah.
in the chat.
Let's get out of here. We'll be back soon. Probably pretty soon. I'm sure they're turning around as we speak. All right, bye. told you we'd be back soon, and here we are.
Let's go.
We barely paused at all. We're ready for round 3. We have almost the entire color pie here.
We got
If it was Jund, right?
no.
But no, so we have Jeskai Prowess and Gruul Eldrazi. These are decks that you are going to play at your RCQ this season. You are going to play against one or both of these decks multiple times.
Consistently. Yeah, so
Definitely
get ready.
consistency.
And it takes me
So-
back to see a Soulscar Mage.
It does. The Soulscar Mage actually, that's an interesting one. Usually you don't see those. But Soulscar Mage is sweet.
Classic.
It is classic.
A really good way to, if you're, let's say you have a non-delirium Unholy Heat, you need to hit a 4-drop. You got 2 of those, maybe over 2 turns. You can permanently shrink one. Another cool trick, you have a shock, you attack, you shrink their dude, and then eat it with your 2/3 prowesser.
Right? Even just having an extra prowess guy is pretty sweet. Like in the before times, like some of the prowess decks were even playing stuff like Sprite Dragon, right?
Yeah.
Um,
And the best card to go with Soulscar Mage, Goblin
Ooh.
Chain Whirler.
oh, definitely. So, okay, that's pretty sweet. So, Sadeep played his prowess guy on 1, played another prowess guy on 2, and had a 1-mana removal spell for um, the ramp spell. So, for the Utopia Sprawl. So, we're not getting a super explosive Eldrazi start here because that's really what they're trying to do. They're trying to either build their own soul land, right, in turning their forest into something that taps for 2, or just playing the Ugin's Labyrinth and having that as their soul land.
Yeah, because in Modern, you
Oh no!
Oh.
Wow, brutal. Okay, another removal spell, another Kraken for 4.
and a great showing for why Sudeep is playing Jeskai and not Izzet, right?
Yep,
Without those prismatic endings, be a completely different game so far.
yep. There could be the Eldrazi player could definitely have a 4-drop in play now, right? Like so, like Michael Spawn or Karn or lots of things to try to accelerate the game that are just not happening. Darcy. Darcy check. We are. Is that lethal?
Wow.
No, it's not quite lethal.
Yeah, so it goes to
Um,
3, I believe. 4.
4, yeah,
yeah.
because it's 7 damage. So yeah, now just dies. Yep, dead.
Wow.
Bonk.
Mhm.
Yep, and has a handful of like 4-drops, including Writhing Chrysalis, which is going to put out a lot of blockers and also fuel like future powerful turns. Those 1-mana removal spells pretty potent there. Pretty good.
I think Prismatic Ending is one of those cards that every time you play against it, you're like, wow, that card does a lot.
The card definitely does a lot. Yeah, the classy is 1, 2, 3 dead. But that's one way to sort of battle against the Eldrazi decks is to keep them off of their mana advantage. So taking a look here at Jeskai Prowess, yeah, this looks pretty solid. You've got the powerful Quarry Steel Cutter, you got a little bit of card selection in Preordain, and Dragon's Rage Channeler obviously providing a ton of card selection, and the Soulscar Mage and the Monastery Swiss Spear, all super good.
So the cards that you would look to cut in this matchup would probably be something a little bit slower, a little bit more grindy. Maybe you trim on expressive iterations and cantrips.
Potentially, you're interested in bringing in the consigns probably. I guess yeah, you could just be like, I don't really need some of the like the inevitability that expressive is giving. You're just having the consigns ready to go.
Or you could cut one of your creatures. You could go like trim on like one Soulscar Mage, trim on one Swift Spear, and then you just like make sure that you like, or you just do trims all around. If you don't know exactly what to cut, that's what I like doing usually.
Normally I might even say that like prismatic ending is not traditionally good against Eldrazi decks, but actually, maybe it's actually fire because you're using it as an early game disruption plan. Like obviously, the later the game goes on, the lower stocks you have on prismatic ending. But in the last game, it was like it was devastating.
It was sinkhole twice.
It was literally it was double sinkhole against the Eldrazi player with a bunch of 4-drops in his hand. So
Devastating.
yep. Gruul Eldrazi, on the other hand, I hope this is playing something like Eldrazi Linebreaker because that is sweet. Not the exact list here. You know, there is a Utopia. There's Utopia Sprawls running around in the deck that we just saw. But again, you know, clutching on super powerful Eldrazi with very strong comes into or not comes into play cast triggers, and Sowing Michael Spawn definitely is going to be here. The Oh my god, I've already forgotten the name of it. I've said the name like 3 times, but I've already forgotten it. The Gruul Eldrazi, the one that Writhing
Writhing-
Chrysalis, yeah, Writhing Chrysalis, which ruined the Modern Horizons 3 draft format.
Oh, it was insane.
It was
Insane.
a mythic uncommon.
Kind of insane.
Oh no, it was a common, right?
It was an uncommon.
No, I think it's a common because
it's a common.
isn't it a common because it
'Cause
also
played
had to
in
be banned in
It
Pauper.
played in Pauper. That's
Yeah.
insane. I think honestly, one of the big things for me is whether or not he plays or Andre plays Chalice.
Oh sure.
Because if Chalice can come down on turn 1, I think that there's like on the play turn 1 Chalice.
Turn 1 Chalice would be pretty good against the Jeskai deck.
Maybe there's no force negations, and if not, I think that cuts off like 3/4 of their castables.
It does, but then you know the trick there is you can overpay for your prismatic ending. So even though you know you only have to pay 1 mana or 0 mana, you can pay 2 to clear out a chalice.
That's a great point because those sinkholes aren't just land destruction spells. Sometimes they're
Yeah.
literally doing anything. That's crazy.
Just got to be careful not to cast your own Utopia Sprawls into the Chalice of the Void.
1000%. Maybe you trim your Utopia Sprawls for the chalices, but
Maybe.
anything in the sideboard you would want to see. I know this isn't the exact sideboard, but what would you want to see in an Eldrazi deck against the prowess list? No?
I don't know. Dismember might be good, but also might be really bad. It's like one of those things where it's hard to say. Like, yeah, you definitely want to remove these guys forever, and it's also particularly bad against Core Steel Cutter and Monk tokens.
The only thing I would say that I want if I'm Andre is I want a Kozilek's return. Because
Definitely.
that would just be so good in this matchup.
Kozilek's return would do some serious damage. So going a little no turn 1 Utopia Sprawl, but probably still probably going to set up some sort of 2 mana ramp here. Waiting to cut the deck, get a bobble trigger. Yep. Oh, get a surveil trigger, I mean. Cavern naming Eldrazi. That's pretty good because we saw counter spells earlier. And also going to be good against the consigned to memories. Consigned to memories will still spoil the cast triggers, but being able to actually like resolve your big guys is going to be pretty important.
If a Sire of 7 Death comes down, that's the game.
Yeah, that's true. Sire of 7 Death, I imagine, would be very difficult for the Jeskai deck to beat. You'd have to go really far over its head, and even then, like First Strike and Lifelink is going to do a lot of work on
And
Sire.
Reach
And Menace and
Trample.
and it's 7 keywords, right? So Vigilance, First Strike, Trample, Lifelink, Menace, Reach,
Ward.
and Ward. Yeah, seven keywords.
Did we get it? First Strike, Vigilance, Menace, Trample, Reach, Lifelink, Ward.
Yep, got them all.
Legends.
Good job, everybody. He might have missed his bobble trigger, or he might have drawn early. No, because he resolved the surveil. Hard to say. I was speculating about Sire of 7 Deaths.
I was distracting you with all those keywords.
Yeah. Gonna look at another surveil land here. So yeah, because we see bobble land surveil. I think it's just lands and artifact right now, right? Just a pile of them.
Yeah. But that could all change with a single cast.
That's true. You could Delirium is currently not online, 2 types.
Expressive.
But as soon as you cast Expressive and then put a instant or sorcery in the graveyard with Surveil on top of that.
And maybe Sudeep is thinking, well, if I tap out, what happens to me? What's the worst thing that could happen here? Decides that it's worth it to dig.
Yep. So Expressive to the bin. So sorcery. So we have land, artifact, sorcery. Land, creature, Core Steel Cutter. So Core Steel Cutter to hand, land to exile. 1 drop on the bottom, probably. Oh, no, Soul Scar to hand. Oh, because already has a backup
Core Steel.
Core Steel Cutter, yep.
Really tough. Wanting to leave up interaction, but
Yeah, wants to leave up interaction, and I guess probably will, because has a consign. Next turn, also with a 4th land, gets to what do you call it? Gets to play Core Steel Cutter and a 1-drop and leave up Consign, which is going to be pretty sweet.
I think it's worth for the rest of the game just leaving up mana and holding up that consign, because if Thought Knot Seer comes down, takes the Core Steel Cutter out of your hand, and then, you untap and you have to go to this late game, and the Core Steel Cutter is really the card that allows you to get those explosive turns of damage.
Yeah, I mean, so if he plays the 1-drop here, this is good because it turns on.
Andre must say in response to the trigger before Delirium can be achieved, going to Kozlik's return,
I don't know if it's going to be Kozilek's return
or just Bolt.
or it's probably Kozilek's return. Yeah. Yep, Kozilek's return your guy away. Yep, clear your guy. I'll take 1.
And then the trigger resolves.
Yep, you still get to surveil if you want. 4 mana, Writhing Chrysalis. Yep.
And, you may not need a Thought Knot if you can just win the game.
Yep.
You don't stop them. You just start doing this. And you're right. I do see it is a common, and that is scary.
Yep.
It's a scary thing.
Pretty scary card. So here we're going to go Core Steel Cutter. Yep. And then a 1-drop. Make a monk.
And so it begins.
And so it begins. Yep. And gets to leave up Consign to Memory.
So what can Andre do? What's the scariest thing that Andre can do? He can cast a Kozilek's return.
Sire of 7 Deaths.
Sire of 7 Deaths, yeah.
I think it's still Sire of 7
No,
Deaths.
and I think that was the draw.
Oh, please let it be the draw.
I think that was the draw.
Oh, Bajuka Bug. Okay.
Because I thought I saw all the weird wiggly arms.
I mean, all the Eldrazi have wiggly arms.
Oh,
though.
that's so true. That's so true.
Oh, so actually now this is Jund Eldrazi
Okay.
because Bajuka Bug.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't think it actually counts as Jund Eldrazi.
We can say it.
Okay, so Sudeep is just gonna lava dart one of the
Hits the Rhythm Chrysalis because it
Yep.
puts a -1/-1
put
counter
a -1
on it.
-1 counter on it. Yeah, that makes sense. And then the graveyard gets exiled. Then they have 1 prowess trigger for blocking purposes. Andre has access to 6 mana.
And that Rhythm Chrysalis can become a 4/5 or
Well,
3
currently
3/4.
A 3/4, yeah, because it's getting shrunk by 1.
Yeah. I
So
always forgot if it was a 2/3 or a 2/2.
Kozak's command X equals 3,
Using the Scion as a colorless.
which I imagine we're gonna think about making some scions.
So
Oh, never mind, it's just getting countered.
yeah. Quite good.
Quite good. Oh, this is actually sweet. The Core Steel Cutter triggers on your opponent's turn. So because Sudeep cast the
Oh, it's when the second spell.
yeah, the second spell is cast whenever you cast your second spell in a turn. So Sudeep gets to counter the spell, but then also having played the Lava Dart.
That's so good.
That's pretty sweet. Yeah, very, very cool. And that could be, a pretty good way to defeat the Eldrazi deck. Is last time we saw, just a couple of guys go super fast, but you can also now go super wide with Core Steel Cutter because the Mishra's Bauble come down, and then if you play this Preordain, you're gonna get yet another Monk trigger, and you're also going to be attacking with a bunch of 3/3s. Well, the Soulscar Mage is 3/4, but a bunch of 3 power guys, and you're going to make a fresh monk who's going to attack for at least 2. So
Eh.
this is 11 power worth of attackers right now, which is crazy.
The damage scales so fast with this card.
Yeah. So Preordain, deciding, do we want either of these? Bauble is probably tempting. Free spells to fuel future. Oh, also doing the math to see if you cast the Bauble this turn, if you can threaten lethal. or at least put Writhing Chrysalis on chump blocking duty.
And there's a bolt in his hand, so he could
There
possibly
is a lightning bolt also, yeah.
could kill the Writhing Chrysalis in response to a trigger.
Or you just send it upstairs. So I think yeah, you took the bobble. So 2 prowess triggers for those guys, another prowess trigger. So those guys have 3 prowess triggers. This guy has 1 prowess trigger. So those are now the monk with the Quarry Steel Cutter is the 3/3. Other 2 monks are 4/4s.
And now
Play a land. Yep.
now he's in a spot.
So we have 4, 8, 12, 15 damage. Plus bolt is 18 plus 4 more prowess is 22. So bolt, Writhing Chrysalis. Yep, sacrifice that.
Takes a blocker off the board.
Yep.
So it has 3 -1/-1 counters, which becomes 2 when the counter's put on it.
Yep.
And
Yeah.
then
So smush. So you're going to be taking 14 here because you have to block one of the 5/5s. Well, I guess you don't have to, but you should block one of the 5/5s.
optimally, you block one of the 5/5s and survive a turn.
No, you take 15. Sorry, because the other one is a 4/4. Yeah. So you block one of the 5/5s. Your Writhing Chrysalis is down. We're looking at the bauble, fetching that card away. So after all this, Deep also can draw up to 2 cards. So you also get to refill despite making this huge board of monks. Core Steel Cutter is nuts. What a crazy card.
And this sounds like kind of crazy, but Steep didn't do a whole lot. He cast a spell for free from his graveyard, and then he cast a counter spell, and they went his turn and cast I don't even know what he did this turn, but he's attacking for 1 billion. It feels like you don't have to do a lot.
He cast a bauble and a preordain, and then another bauble and then a lightning bolt.
And with those spells, he won the game.
And that resulted in
20 some damage.
yeah, 19 power worth of attackers.
And I don't mean to be demeaning when I say he didn't do a lot. The deck the card just allows you to you cantrip and you replace all of the spells that you have. There's the Sire 7 deaths, but
Yep.
it's gonna be a little bit too late.
So gonna keep that. Get a spawn token. Play it. Get a Eldrazi Temple probably. Yep. You're just trying to hold on for 1 more turn. Because if you can hold on for 1 more turn, you get to cast a huge guy, but then also cast your Kozilek's Return from the graveyard and wipe out this entire army.
Which is so important.
Expressive Iteration. Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
There's
GG's.
yeah.
This
Oof.
Jeskai Cool Stuff deck.
Jeskai cool stuff.
I think I'm a fan of the cool stuff.
Definitely did some cool stuff. That was 2 really interesting looks at the deck. One where it was incredibly fast, and a second where it was a little bit slow but incredibly explosive. So like you said, kind of went from okay, I've got not much going on to I have so much power attacking you.
You have died somehow.
Yeah, it's crazy. Very very crazy stuff. Well played. Checking on our backup if they're still playing. There we go. We were joking that these players would be battling to see who would have the most permanence in play at any given time. Currently, Alex by a lot. So
And is that a dampening sphere in the main?
that this has got to be a sideboard game, I would imagine.
For sure. Oh, no worries, no worries.
So yep, Thought Monitor. We got probably a big construct token and a Ravager. Construct token is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8.
And Ravager, not really. The game's not going to end immediately right now. Very close.
Yes, sort of the push and pull because the construct is only as big as Ravager can get. You can't double up.
Yeah, but next turn you threaten 2 lethal attackers because if they answer the construct, then you're able to put all the counters on the Ornithopter and vice versa.
Right.
If they kill your Ravager, you just ignore it.
This is also a pretty good spot where, so not only does Alex have the Damping Sphere, but also has the Aether Spell Bomb. So disrupting the Titan mid shenanigans.
Yeah, sometimes you get that, as we were talking about earlier, that 6/6 just beats you to death with a. It's got trample, and trample.
It does have trample.
Colossal Dreadmaw is the strongest creature of all time, right? That was the joke. That was the
Yeah.
joke. That was the joke. And that card that wins games.
Colossal Dreadmaw is pretty good in Modern, turns out.
I've lost plenty of games to just big dumb creatures that have trample, and I think that's the king of big dumb creatures with trample.
Definitely is the. Oh, that was pretty funny. So Alex has a Ornithopter in hand, but couldn't deploy it last turn through the Damping Sphere.
Oh,
Pretty funny.
Yeah.
Taxed on his own Damping Sphere.
yeah, an ancient Thran artifact. It spent 10,000 years doing absolutely nothing.
Well stated. And probably now is also thinking like, well, do I really want to play this 0-drop? I guess I do, because it grows the construct.
Yeah, and I don't want to say this game's over.
Game is, I would say, pretty in Alex's favor. With the active Damping Sphere and a huge array of attackers,
It feels over.
feels over. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. This is a lethal attack currently.
Forces the Besage on
So
the
we're going to
construct.
Besage you the construct. So Ravager is going to eat the construct.
How all in do you go on this Ravager? That's the hard part.
Well, you can no longer you no longer have lethal. But I think you feed the construct to the Ravager.
Because you have an active Emery. You can sack everything, including the Dampening Sphere, if you're really feeling ballsy, to put all the counters on the Ravager.
Yep.
And then you can even sack the Thought after damage. You sack the Thought Monitor. Then using Emery, you recast your Thought Monitor, pay for your Dampening Sphere tax.
I guess the other thing is you can, instead of feeding it to the Ravager, you can just get your basic island.
That's a good point.
Right? Like there's if you're sort of playing around your own Damping Sphere, just having the extra mana is also pretty sweet sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes you do lock yourself out of a second spell.
I think one of the other cards in Alex's hand is Otawara. So trying to leave up 4 mana for Otawara and still cast something on your turn is going to be tricky.
That's a good point.
So it looks like it was just a beat for 3. Ravager stayed a 1/1. Thought Monitor a 2/2.
Not trying to overextend, because if Will does have a second, Besage you or something, Alex wants to be in a position where he hasn't tapped out. He isn't just instantly losing the game.
Right, exactly. So we are going to cast something, looks like. Oh, okay. Feed the Thought Monitor to the Arcbound Ravager and then play it with Emery.
It's about as free as you can get.
Yeah, so the cost is reduced by 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Probably just thinking about whether or not that's the right card to play, but it's the only artifact that I think is good in his graveyard.
You can replay the Mox Opal, but it's sort of like mana negative. So we're going to play Lava Spur Boots. I think the Lava Spur Boots should cost 1 more. Lava Spur Boots should cost 2.
Yeah.
Right, because of Damping Sphere?
Yeah. Because the affinity makes the Thought Monitor still only 1 mana, right? Because the tax is added, but then the affinity...
Well, so the Lava Spur Boot should cost 2 because of the Ornithopter. And then the Thought Monitor should cost 3 additional. So there would have been 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
So it would have cost 3. I don't know if they've drawn from the Thought Monitor.
No, they definitely drew off the Thought Monitor. There might be something I'm missing. We'll ask him afterwards.
And there is enough untapped mana to still
Yeah.
Cast those spells. Should have cost 2. Okay. No, that's fair.
Yeah. I think it should have cost 2. And then the Thought Monitor, I think might have still cost 1 because it is whatever the converted mana cost is.
+2 minus.
Yeah, because there's whatever the converted mana cost is +3. But I think there were enough artifacts because you have.
And for ordering, right? It does go reduction, and then, or does it go discount and then tax?
That's a great question. That's a really great question.
Let me know in the comments down below if you're watching the
Yeah.
VOD. I would love to talk to you.
Yeah. So I think the boots should have been cost 2, but I think the monitor was still 1.
And you still have all the mana needed to cast
Yeah.
all of that.
And you can
so.
still cast whatever. Yeah, that was plenty of mana to cast all of it. Yeah, that's what I thought. Everything but Trinisphere will do addition then reduction. Yeah. So Thought Monitor is like, how much does this cost, including converted mana cost plus additions? Reduce that with affinity,
Perfect.
and then make sure you spend at least 3 if there's Trinisphere in play. Yeah, Trinisphere is always last. It's always its own thing.
Yeah, I don't know too much about the stack, but I do know that Trinisphere is last because
Yep.
I love Trinisphere.
It's not a stack, it's a layer.
It's a layer.
It's different.
It's yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. And now we get to see this awesome list. Is this his list?
No.
No.
No, no one submitted.
We can try to piece it together though. Oh, what do we think about sideboards? What would you want against Titan? We saw the dampening sphere. Are you playing consigns against Titan?
A deck that plays blue would certainly want to be thinking about playing consign. Spreading Seas, if that's a card that he's playing, it would be pretty good against Titan. That's sweet. I think I know that Alex has played Metallic Rebukes in the past, so having just a 1 mana leak can be pretty sweet. So those are cards I would look at. Whatever this deck has got going on is pretty sweet. I like this Memory Garden spell.
That was a card that when I saw it in Aether Drift, I was like, hold up, I don't play Affinity, but I know that Affinity is dumb.
Yeah,
Like, they should play this card. And now people are playing it. That's awesome because it's a 1 mana 3/4 of flying. For the rate, that's so much better than Thought Monitor.
well, but Thought Monitor draws you 2 cards. That's why Thought Monitor is good.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
But this is definitely a super cool deck. I also love Whip Flare as a Pyroclasm variant. Deal 2 damage to all non-artifact creatures.
Oh, I've lost that so many
They're
times.
so cool. You get to keep your Memnites and your Ornithopters and Thought Monitors around and wipe out all of your opposing whatevers.
When we go to Lorwyn, we need like Boggart Flare, where it's just like to deal 2 damage to each non-goblin creature, and it's just a Boggart in the middle of a flaming swamp.
I will hope that you get that, but I do have my doubts.
It's probably not gonna happen, but we can dream.
We can dream.
And so this is going into game 3, and it looks like Will's gonna be on the play. Are you looking for something in particular? If you're Will, like are you trying to go? Yeah, that makes sense.
Amulet.
That makes sense. Are you settling in this matchup? Are you thinking that maybe you're gonna grind, or are you saying I need to go fast?
I don't know. I think in general going fast is good, right? So we got a Mystical Dispute there, a white bordered Summoning Pact. That's pretty cool. Not good enough though. Probably a Mystery Booster card, yeah. Or I mean, who knows? It could be just a custom like a white border card. I like it when people are white border their cards, like they put the acetone on them and whatnot.
I absolutely love.
Oh, you don't even have to use acetone. You can just use a regular eraser. Interesting.
It's all about how much work you're willing to put in, right?
Make some white border Murktides.
Oh, I could whiteboard my whole goblin stack. Yeah, just take all the art off.
I don't think you can take all the art off.
No. Sorry, the border.
The border. Okay,
That was my bad. I said art. Take the art off and just have like the text box, but like.
Yeah, this is a very cool affinity list. Alex is an affinity aficionado, as an affinity binder. Every card that could ever be good or be played in affinity is in a binder, ready to be deployed. Like, oh, what do I feel like playing this week? What does this RCQ call for? It's good to have options. I think like that.
You know, I have a affinity, or I have a affinity. I have a goblin pile, but that's
Yes,
very
that makes
it's
sense.
very on theme.
Yeah,
he has
Binder,
it's just a stat. Yeah.
all of his. Well, actually, it's loose deck boxes that just have
Oh,
random unsorted cards in them. I'm like, oh, okay, so that's modern, that's legacy, but where's the standard cards?
that sounds right.
So I'll try to get a binder one day, but I don't know. Looking at both players going to 6 here, is there a deck that mulligans better? I think that maybe Will's deck,
Probably Titan Mulligan's better.
you don't need as many pieces. Your nut draw kind of just relies on a core game plan, whereas Affinity needs like a massive artifacts in order for it to be effective.
Right. Um, definitely see cranial plating in the hand. Oh, yeah, there we go. I'll play Amulet on turn 1.
That'll do it.
Seems that's a good place to start. Ooh, Force of Negation. That's a cool sideboard card.
It must have been the draw because we didn't see it.
Yeah, we didn't see it, so it definitely was the draw. Bobble you. Yeah, this looks accurate. So the Affinity Binder, alphabetized and sorted by CMC. Goblin Pile, a stack, upside down, backward, long ways, etc.
Oh, if you watch the YouTube VODs, I literally stream next to my keyboard, which has a mountain of cards next to it, and those are all my goblins pieces.
I think that's a common occurrence for many. I think lots of folks have the stack of cards at their table. Oh my goodness. Okay, so Will has triple amulet. So some stuff is going down on Will's next turn. I have it on good authority.
If I'm Alex, I'm in danger.
I mean, has a little bit of disruption here, right? So has the Tormod's Crypt to stop a loop, and has the um, has a spell bomb to potentially bounce a Titan. But a single bounce land is 6 mana.
Yeah, and his hand is Grazer, Aftermath Analyst, Beseiju.
Mm,
That's tough.
that's not ideal for this situation.
Because you don't want to play that Beseiju in case a Dampening Sphere comes down.
In playing the Analyst is also sort of weird, right?
Because if you have a bounce land on top, you need that bounce land. And so you can't cast anything. The Grazer is also a ritual.
That's true.
So
So we'll see what happens. I can hear Alex whistling through the door.
I get to.
That's fun. So don't have a good look at. Oh, there is a damping sphere. How about that?
Ooh, good read by Will not playing that Beseiju.
So damping sphere, backup. Yep, damping sphere, and also backup cranial plating and the force of negation. Now here's interesting. If you're Will, would you ever Beseiju your own amulet to get an extra land? Probably not, right?
It's really tough. There's just so many things that you need to do. You need to you need to take care of that dampening sphere.
Yep,
that's
so
step 1. So we
Step
start
1,
there.
get there. Ironically, though, this unlocks the spell bomb. So now the spell bomb can bounce a Titan if Titan comes down. Still get your first still get your first Titan trigger though. And then you have a Titan for later turns.
Which is gonna be good. You just have to play through, that one bounce, and then you can get 2 more ETBs. So both players,
Didn't see what the draw for turn was. Gruul Turf.
both players playing the cards pretty close to hand.
Gruul Turf is 6 mana, but doesn't do a lot. Because it's play Analyst, and then if you try to activate Analysts, if you play Grazer, then you have a Grazer in play.
And then
Go. Interesting.
yeah, because you're not willing to say, okay, well, what if there's a Titan on top, right? You can't just afford to.
It's
mill
true.
over
What
your
if there's a Titan on top? So what's the play here with the Saga? Float a mana. This Ornithopter, I think, is about to pick up 2 cranial platings,
Oh no.
right? Becomes pretty big pretty quickly. Because that would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, basically. The 10, 2 flying. 2-turn clock with Ornithopter, although you get a block with the Grazer, I suppose. Grazer has reach.
Grazer looks much better now.
Grazer suddenly looks a lot better against the double cranial plating plan. Kind of like a time walk. Or actually, yes, more accurately, it's like a fog,
I love it when my chump block becomes time walk.
right?
Your only action
So
was an
put that
attack.
there.
Lots of
Can
damage.
also be just attacking for 5. Oh, actually, it's 12. Sorry, because you would get if you play the second plating, you get an extra 2 damage.
Is this holding up hard cast force negation?
Yes, does hold up hard cast force negation. So jump. Don't want to take 5. Don't need this Grazer anymore. 2 mana. Here comes cranial plating number 2. Saving Mox Opal to activate Bobble if you need it, or not Bobble. Spell Bomb. And the hand is Force of Negation something.
Looks like a Hanaware Battlements. I could be wrong.
So we're just going to play Aftermath Analyst. Force action on the Tormod script. Oh, Metallic Rebuke.
Quite a clean answer.
Yep, I mean Counterspell is Counterspell.
Yeah. Play the battlements and pass.
It's a blue card that he drew.
If it's Tameo, do you just hold it for force?
I would think so. So if it's Stamio, oh, it's an Ornithopter. Okay. So just attack coming in for 6, 7. Go. All right. So hardcast force negation on the table.
And an Echoing Deep. The art had purple in it. That's all I know.
Yeah, sort of a tough position for Amulet when you have a bunch of amulets and then sort of like nothing to do with them. Like you can make a ton of mana because you have at least 1 bounce land, right? So you have access to 9 mana essentially. So we're gonna make a bunch of mana. We're gonna pick up Beseju.
And not Talaria West because of the line you were talking about where he just bounces it with either a Spellbound.
Well, also if you pick up Slayer West, you don't have double blue anyway.
Oh, that's a good point.
So if you had Simic Growth Chamber, probably you are interested in picking up the Teleria West and then try to go through there. Oh, that's also interesting. The other text on the cranial plating is for black, you can equip it at instant speed. So Spire of Industry plus Mox Opal means that at the end of Will's turn, Alex gets to equip the other Ornithopter. So fire off that on one of the cranial platings. Yep. And then just take the damage for the other one.
And this is really important, not hitting the Ornithopter, because if hit the Ornithopter, it still had double black up to instant speed attached to the other one.
You definitely don't want to hit the Ornithopter. It's tempting to kill the creature, but obviously the cranial plating is what is problematic here.
Very well played by Will.
Yep, got to make sure you're targeting the right permanents and whatnot. So the last card in Will's hand is, we think it's Echoing Deeps. And Titan. I just want to see a Titan cast, really make the game interesting.
It would be cool.
It'd be cool. Titans are cool. Although, now we need Titan and Bounce Land, unfortunately. Because with the Ghoul Turf in play, which is the card underneath the glare there, is we no longer have access to like a bunch of free mana. And we bounced the Teleria and used it. Well, I guess no. You could Echoing Deeps something.
It's an interesting spot.
So Hanowar Battlements. Tap for colorless.
This has to be an amulet.
A 4th amulet. It could be an expo map.
That might be what it was. Yeah, that.
Yeah,
the
okay, so
bottom.
it's expo map. So play expo map, crack it, get Simic Growth Chamber, get a bunch of lands, and pick up the
Oh, it's Vesuva, not Echoing Deep.
oh Vesuva. Okay, so make a bunch of mana with bring these out. Hopefully this doesn't end in an anticlimax where what happens is you just you get Force of Negation at one point.
Oh, you
So
do all
we-
this to transmute for a Summoner's Pact, and then it gets forced.
Yeah.
Oh,
So 1 mana for Expo map. Yep. Hardcast Force on Expo map. Yep.
just cut it off there.
Expo map down. Mana gone.
Oof,
Pass turn.
that was the line, but Alex,
Yep. And then
Oh.
play any artifact and it becomes lethal.
well played, very well played.
Force of Vigor was the top card. Oof.
Oh, that would have been so good.
That would have been a good one. Back to the booth. Here we are. It's us. That's the end of round 3. We'll be coming at you soon with round 4. Just a couple of minutes. That'll be our last round today, so don't go too far. But before that, we have this to talk about. Would you like to talk about it, Jack?
Yeah, so in Chicagoland, if you like to play some Modern, May 10th, Saturday, we got a 10K Modern Showdown. Come on out and jam your favorite Modern lists. You could play against Nikachu. We don't know if he's going to be there, but you could play against, you never know.
You never know.
You could play against anybody at the Energy Series. You never know who you're going to run into. And if you play some Standard, come on down. May 11th, we got the Sunday 5K Standard Trial. It's the best time in the world to play Standard, and I think you should come down and play. Also, if you like to buy, sell, trade Pokemon, or any other card game, Nerd Rage Gaming is your place, your number one place to go. Go to nrg.tcgplayerpro.com and support this local game store, and you support the wonderful people that give you all of this magic that you'd like to watch. So go check out that website.
What are the games they got on that website?
Oh, the games they got Digimon, they got One Piece, they got Lorcana, they got Pokemon, they got not Yu-Gi-Oh,
Flesh and Blood?
Flesh and Blood. They got the Magic, of course. Stars Unlimited, Star Wars Unlimited.
I think that's it.
Union Arena.
Union Arena?
Union Arena,
They'll have Gundam.
Gundam,
Oh, Love Gundam. That's
They'll
exciting.
have Riftbound.
Riftbound.
When that comes out, that's the League of Legends one.
Oh, the League of
Okay,
Legends one.
League
That'll
of-
be sweet. Yeah.
That sounds awesome.
I'm very excited about the League of
All
Legends
of the
one.
best TCGs you could possibly want. Go check them out.
All right. We'll be back soon. See you later. Hello and welcome back. It's time for round 4, the final round. I almost said the penultimate round, but that last round was the penultimate round. It's just fun to say the word penultimate, right?
It's so fun.
I should work on that next time. Anyway, it's time for the final round. We have 2 undefeateds, seeing who will go the absolute fastest between 2 fast decks. Here we got Sadeep and Alex, prowess and affinity, going fast.
It's an
There was some discussion about like, oh, should we play like, yeah, this will be over in like 10 minutes.
yeah, and the other thing is, remember how we were talking at the top of the show about
Ooh,
how
3 dice high roll. Love it.
You're in the finals. You're undefeated. Just have fun with it.
Just have fun with it. Yeah,
That's how Magic's supposed to be played.
exactly. So there was some discussion at an RCQ about high roll versus odd even. When like, well, odd even, you make sure that you only draw once, or you only have to roll 1 die. But if you're doing high roll, you can tie. This is my solution to that. You start with 2d6. If you tie, add a d6. If you tie again, add a d6. Escalate.
This sounds amazing.
Always escalate. The hardest I ever got was 4. I've never gone beyond 4d6.
Yeah, then ties just become improbable.
Yeah, exactly.
That's amazing.
And your opponent will sometimes be too shocked to answer, and be like, "Yeah, sure, I'll add another die."
Yeah, they're like, well, yeah, let's do it.
Actually, my favorite way to determine is you bust out the rock paper scissors cards.
Oh,
You need to have 2 sets though, or otherwise it's just the Monty Hall problem.
it's true. Shout out to exactly. Shout out to my buddy Alex Luke, the absolute legend, who does have those cards, but I don't think he has 2 sets, so he doesn't use them anymore.
You do get a lot more ties if you use 2 sets.
Oh, that's so true.
Because
That's so true. It's a 1 in 3 chance.
it's a 1 in
Or
3.
I guess it's a 1 in. No, it's still a 1 in 3 chance because it's reduced, right? It's 2 and 6.
I love that. I love a D12 and a D20 and say closest to Christmas.
Oh no, that's so good.
Oh my god.
Yep.
That would be that's like a find the creature moment. That's just like a
Where is it? Go get it.
uh
That's so good.
there was a person who at our store was a big fan of asking for prime not prime, which is the same as odd even. You just have to know what your prime numbers are. So that's fun.
A little mental agility check, real quick.
Exactly. Mental agility check. That's correct. 2, 3, 5.
See?
Those are the prime numbers
You
on
pass.
a D6. He was a funny kid.
Shout out to the legend.
Shout out to the legend.
It works in most scenarios. That's the reason I use it. It's great.
It's good. No, I like it. It's acknowledging the legendary status of your fellow players, your fellow community members.
Well, and we're all writing our stories. So at the end of it, we all could be legends. Who's to know?
What are we? Some sort of league of legends?
Aww. All right, so it looks like no mulligans, just, making
Well, no, I
shit.
think Sadeep is on a mulligan here.
Okay, so 1 mulligan for Sadeep. Alex skipped to 7.
I guess we'll see how much a mulligan it was when the cards go on the bottom.
Yeah.
Or I mean, it could not be a mulligan. Who knows?
I know they were both, taking their time to set up because they want a good game.
I'm gonna put one of those prismatic endings back with your mono mountain hand. Probably don't want to go to 5. Oh, maybe it is the 7. Yep. So we go mountain into 1-drop into bubble.
Huge
Good
fan.
stuff. Yep.
Huge fan of this.
So the other reason why this Jeskai Prowess deck and the stocks are way up is because they just released, or they're going to release 2 secret layers that are like secret layer red prowess cards.
Oh, it's so true.
There's $100 version and the cards are like $2.
Total. It's insane. I don't know if y'all could hear.
I didn't know it was that expensive.
There's a regular one.
Oh, okay.
It's insane. I've seen already 5 or 6 YouTube videos about it. But to put a secret layer at $100 and then the actual evaluation's under 5, insane.
Crazy. All right, so played a second 1-drop, gets metallic rebuked. What a pretty good counterspell to be like, yeah, okay, I'm gonna put two free 1/1s into play, and then I'm going to counter your spell. Play a bobble.
Yeah, this affinity deck is the epitome of efficiency.
And a cranial plating. Why not? Yep. So attacking for one, leaving one back as a blocker, I guess. Not even cracking the bobble. Just going to use it as fuel for the plating. I feel like the pregame shuffling is going to take more time than this game one. Oh, that's
Oh,
I see. I see. Oh, we called him up too fast.
Yeah.
Whoops. Stock up broke $10. That's crazy. Stock up stocks at an all-time high. I think I bought a collector booster and there was a foil one in there, so I guess I gotta get
go
rid of
get
that.
that.
Yeah, I gotta
Sell
go.
it for $40 or something.
I gotta go find out where that is.
We have a friend, shout out to Greg at the Boar's Hat, and he literally bought like 30 of them for 20 cents each.
Oof.
He was like, "This card is good. You guys are don't no, you don't know." And well, now we're talking to Greg like, "Hey Greg, can we borrow some of those stock ups?" He actually gave my buddy Frank. He was like, "Here, you take 4 of these. I feel bad." So good.
A common or an uncommon.
An uncommon. It's just dig through time.
It is,
It's not literally dig through time, but
it's pretty close.
as close as you don't need the graveyard.
Yeah, and it costs 3 mana.
It's crazy. Why would they do that to us, Wizards? We want good cards, but don't give us like that good cards. Like
So Sudeep got a Thundering Falls, surveilled a Monetary Swifter into the bin. Got a Sacred Foundry, so we're going to pending that the what do you call it? Oh my gosh, I'm too tired. Cranial plating. Good lord. So cranial plating down. Decided not to attack, I guess. No, is deciding to attack. Alex not making a construct in response. Can make a 3/3 construct. Or sorry, 4/4 construct, 5/5 construct. Final answer.
possibly playing around like Lava Dart or some free spell. Like if there's a Lava Dart and you like flash it back, you could like eat the construct maybe.
Right. Looks like just took the damage from the guy and then made the construct at the end of turn. Also pretty good.
Probably saying I'm gonna race here.
And make another construct here. Go find something from the no more float of mana.
This probably tells me it's a Shadow Spear.
Shadow Spear, yeah. Yep, that's a pretty good one against a deck you're trying to race.
I've lost to many Shadow Spears. We play Trashmaster and Crater Maker because we need to kill Shadow Spear. It's not the only reason, but it helps a lot.
So this construct now is going to be a 6/6, a 7/7 after it picks up the sphere. So 14-point life swing. That's pretty significant.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, coming in for 9 also.
Cough,
So
cough.
gonna put Sudeep down to 5. We're gonna Lava Dart. Yeah, Lava Dart one of those guys. Maybe even flashback Lava Dart to get the other one.
Oh, this is such.
Because that'll shrink the construct too, but still pretty big. Still a 5/5 or 6/6 because of the Shadow Spear.
And now Sudeep looking for Meltdown, looking for something.
Well, probably wouldn't have Meltdown main deck. Another
Oh, this is game 1, yes.
another pending would be good.
Pending would be amazing.
Oh, he actually we know he has pending because we saw it at his opening hand. So
Mm,
pending the Shadow Spear. Oh, the construct.
the better creature.
Oh, just hoping that can keep the battlefield clear of any creatures after the construct is cleared out. So leaving Shadow Spear behind is fine. So counter unless you pay 3. Can pay 3.
Maybe cast it. Had to cast it because it's just what, like.
Yeah, you tax the mana a little bit.
Make you use your whole turn.
So take 3.
Kind of a show of, oh, this card does so many things.
Right. And then, if on Alex's turn he goes to suit up the Memnite, probably going to eat another Lava Spike or Lava Dart. Too many Lava spells. Lava Dart,
So much
flash back from the
fire.
graveyard, because Sadi probably does not need 4 mana. Can easily let one of those mountains go. Probably the basic, I would imagine. Yep. So before anything even happens on your turn, just get that guy out of here. Oh, just pulling it to the front. Looks like they haven't actually cast it yet.
Yeah, interesting. Maybe would have done this in the upkeep to play around a Thought Monitor or a Thought Cast, but this could be a show of just like, I don't really mind what you do, but
Another Bauble. Another Citadel.
doesn't have to worry about Metallic Rebuke because there's not a blue source in play.
Yep. So try to suit it up, kill your guy. Well, it's a long way to go, but Alex gets to kind of refuel. Drew 2 from the Thought Monitor, gets to draw from Bauble. Might could even crack the second Bauble if they want. Swiss Spear just permanently in attack mode. I like that.
That's basically how it feels when you play Monastery Swift Spear.
Right.
Very rarely are you blocking, and when you're blocking, it's not always the greatest.
So Sadeep also going to try to refill here with Expressive Iteration. Start with hopefully finding a bunch more spells or a land. So play land from exile. Have Bolt Lava Dart in play. Okay, that can suddenly be a lot of damage. Because an unblocked Swiss Spear is like, okay, well, 2 Lava Darts is 2 damage, plus 2 plus 2 prowess is 4, plus Lightning Bolt is 7, plus another prowess is 8, plus the natural toughness, or natural power is 9. So it's a lot of damage pretty quickly.
You're just like, oh, here's my 1/2. Do you do nothing? Oh, wow.
Well, what if instead you took
A lot.
10 or more damage?
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened. That's kind of a little bit what we saw at that last game where he was just going to town with the Corey Steelcutter. Went from having not really much of a board at all to having a huge board, and all his guys had 4 and 5 power. Fomori Vault does kind of a stock up impression for Mori Vault.
Yeah, when you play Fomori Vault with a board full of artifacts, it's kind of insane. One of those cards that you don't realize is playable in Modern, but in this deck specifically, it's kind of busted.
In that deck, it's incredibly good. Yeah. So Sadeep on 5, Alex on 12. No blockers, and also representing no colored mana. It's a bit of a tough position. Can Sadeep put 12 damage into this Swiss Spear this turn? Putting a second Swiss Spear on the board makes it pretty trivial, but let's see what we got. Like the card on top, that can't be a good sign. So
Bauble because it's free damage and a redraw.
Yep. So Bauble, yep, trigger, 1 prowess. So 2 damage.
Looks at his own library because he's got a fetch.
In for 2. Yep. Holding these burn spells, seeing if he has to clear the way or make sure that Shadow Spear never gets equipped to any other guy ever again.
Because the artifact count really doesn't matter if there's no bodies in play. But Alex has the bodies.
So Ornithopter, yep.
The issue is only one one land able to make sources.
So put the Ornithopter now on blocking duty. A 1/3 with lifelink and trample.
It's crazy. If you're Alex, you might be thinking you can win this race if you're able to, block a few times, get another creature down. You can eventually, if you do have nothing else, you can just like try to put the Shadow Spear in a bigger and bigger creature. But we know Sadeep's got removal, and he's playing it very disciplined.
Right. I think this is a Tameo, probably. We saw Alex has a Tameo.
Would you put the Shadow Spear on the Tameo?
No, I keep it on the Ornithopter for now. So you don't want to block. You don't want to block with your Tameo. You want to block with the Ornithopter.
That makes sense.
Lightning bolt gonna come down, hit the Ornithopter, right? See, this is also hard because it's like I want to remove your Tameo because it generates more value, but I'm actually gonna kill your Ornithopter because I don't want you to have lifelink on my turn.
Yeah, and it's an artifact too, which is huge.
Yeah, and putting Alex in a position where again Monastery Swiftspear can be very scary with the right cards. So you were like, okay, well, don't block my guy.
9.
Yeah, right. It is not trivial to assemble 9 damage.
Yeah, so now let's see what can be assembled here for Sidib.
Yep. What's he got? He has Darcy. That's pretty good. Good place to start. And then expressive. That's really good.
Wow.
And we get to churn through with a bunch of surveil. Ooh, lava dart in the bin. That's got to be really good. So Soulscar.
Bauble, Arid Mesa.
Yeah. So play the bobble for turn for free, or probably play the Soulscar first, maybe if you feel like it. Nah, just play the bobble straight up. Doesn't actually matter. So Soulscar, play the bobble, get another surveil trigger. Keep that on top, I guess.
Yeah, so
Nope. Let it go. Another Swiss beer. Don't need it. Look at Alex's card. So you have to spend 2. If you want to clear the Tameo, you have to spend 2. Though you kind of just have to attack, because if you're attacking and Alex doesn't block, I think he's dead. Because it's for 3 now, and he can represent 3 more from Lava Dart. Because Lava Dart you for 3, 3 more power triggers is 6, which is exactly 9. Yep, that's it.
GG's. Well played.
Again, very, 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 very tricky.
It looks like it's just a Monastery Swiftspear.
It looks like it's just a monetary Swiftspear. You're like, okay, I'll take 3, maybe 5, because you do have 1 Lava Dart in the graveyard. But second Lava Dart means an extra. It's 2 lightning bolts.
It's crazy.
It's crazy.
So going into game 2 against Affinity. Looking at the sideboard, you got 3 consigns, 2 meltdowns, 3 prismatic endings,
Oh,
2 spell pierce, 2 pyroclasm, a mystical, and 2 soul guides.
yeah. So we know that Sudeep is playing the prismatic endings in his main deck because he played them game 1 against
That's true.
his Eldrazi opponent a couple of rounds ago. If he does have Consign and Meltdown, I imagine that those are going to come in. Again, maybe trimming on the mutagenic growth if he's playing those. We haven't seen Slickshot show off from him yet.
Yeah. So that's probably
So he's probably playing the Soul Scar instead of the show offs, would be my guess.
which I kind of like that, like overall, right? Like it allows you to grind a little bit better. It allows you to shrink bigger creatures into a more manageable rate.
Yeah, it was really good against the Eldrazi a couple of rounds ago. Very, very good there, making it, well, basically clearing the way for his whole army and getting rid of 2 blockers at once.
Yeah, so spells like Meltdown, spells like Consign probably come in. We probably not playing Wrath because you're a token permanent style deck in that you want to have a core steel cutter. You want to be able to make these monastery token or these monk tokens, and you don't want to blow all that stuff up with your own Wrath of the Skies. So one-sided stuff like Meltdown seems super cool. Any counter magic you would want to bring in? No?
Well, Consign.
Ah, yes. That's it. Period.
Though I found out I played Consign against Alex, and it's not as good as I kind of like wanted it to be because a lot of the really good spells are not colorless. So like Thought Monitor is a blue spell, so you can't counter it with Consign.
But you can consign the.
You can consign the trigger,
Yeah.
but the really important one is the Kappa Cannoneer is not a colorless spell. So you're like, yeah. So consign is good, but it's not
It's not as good as you want it to be.
Maybe not as good as you think it is
You
necessarily.
cast it, and then they're like, "Oh, okay, keep going."
Yeah, exactly.
Looking at the affinity deck, again, these aren't the exact lists, but like a spell like, would you play Consign against the Quarry Steelcutter?
Maybe.
No, but wait, no, that's red. Never mind. That was a very silly thing to say.
Oh yeah, it doesn't counter the core steel cutter, but it could. You could counter the monks being made.
Okay,
That's like not irrelevant.
it's not on the turn you lose. That could be something, but
Right.
you would rather have a whip flare, right?
Right. You probably rather have a whip flare, and I mean, getting rid of the monk does get rid of it forever, right?
That's a good point.
So it's kind of like a preemptive removal for the monk, though. Again, the core steel cutter deck is just going to make another monk the next turn. So
Yeah.
Consigned to Memory is just really good. I feel like Consigned to Memory is something that you can like bring in a bunch of matches where you don't necessarily think of it, but there are also matches where maybe it's like a trap.
I think
I don't know. It's like surgical extraction in that respect.
Consign is my Chalice of the Void.
Yeah, just bring it in and figure out if it's good later.
Yeah. I always try to, in my head, mentally keep track of, oh, was this good in this matchup? And I can never remember, so I always just bring it in.
Perfect. I mean, so you could play Is It Goblins and put Consigns in your deck.
See, we could play Consigns and Chalices and make our opponents very confused.
If my Goblins opponent played a a cavern on goblins and then chalked in a steam vents, I'd be very confused.
That would be
I-
awesome.
I'd be like, I don't know what's going on over there, but
Bruin, some crazy Bruin. So we looks like we got Spire of Industry, and then the Ornithopter and the Mox Opal, and then Sudeep just played, I believe it's a fetch land.
probably a fetch land, yeah.
Alex got a Urza Saga. Cracks the Arid Mesa.
Yep. Mox Opal doesn't tap for mana yet, but
Will soon.
it will. It certainly will soon. Yeah, as soon as the first construct is made, assuming that Alex has another land, which he probably does.
It's nice when you're in the finals, you're undefeated, you're playing your deck, you're having fun, and you can have a couple laughs, you can have a good time with your friends. That's one of the biggest things that you can hope for in a game of Magic.
Exactly. Playing for some stakes, but not all the stakes, right?
Nothing crazy, but it's something that is worth fighting for.
So immediately fetch another thing. Play. What do we gotta play? A 2-drop, a 1-drop. The Corey Steel Cutter. Here it is.
Oh, standard, pioneer, modern, and legacy. Oh,
Wait. Okay. We should stop them here because that Mox Opal does not tap for mana.
Hmm?
Improvise.
Oh, improvise. It does tap for improvise.
It doesn't have affinity for artifacts. It has improvise.
It is improvise.
That's the other thing about Kappa Cannoneer is it doesn't have affinity for artifacts. It has improvise.
Improvise.
And I-
Yeah.
And I remember playing games where it's like, wait, how do you? It's so crazy because you never really pay attention. You just let your opponent windmill their stuff into play. That's the one spell where you have to be like, okay, did you tap this one? Did you tap this one?
Yep.
But super interesting mechanic.
I always forget improvise is different. Yeah. So the Mox Opal doesn't tap for mana. It's like
A springleaf drum.
well no, it's like uh not concordant cost rolls, not Green Sun Zenith. Court of Calling. It's like Court of Calling for artifacts.
Yeah.
So Pyroclasm is just going to clean up the board.
Ooh.
Or Convoke, yeah. It's like
Convoke's a good one.
Convoke. Convoke with artifacts. Pyroclasm cleans up Ornithopter and Emery and shrinks the construct down to size.
Now, do you make a construct here? You're in this position. What do you do?
What do? I probably make a construct.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to go get Shadow Spear.
Yeah. And the Pyroclasm just came down, so that was probably the sideboard card.
Right.
At most, you have to worry about one more, and then Sudeep's gonna try to just be aggressive and get the stuff down and kill you. But if you get this Shadow Spear equipped to the construct, I don't want to say the game's over, You're in a really good spot though.
Yeah, you're in a really good spot, and we know that Sudeep can battle against it because he did a really good job of that last game. But I think that if Sudeep is just trying to run you out of guys, um,
Oh, that's a stacked hand.
that's a lot of removal. Wow, that is a lot of removal.
So that's Pyroclasm, or sorry, Lightning Bolt, doubled Lava Dart, Prismatic Ending, Quarry Steel Cutter, and I think a land.
Yep. So okay, so we're gonna convoke or improvise out another of the metallic rebukes
Ooh,
at the prismatic ending, turn to take down the Shadow Spear.
Metallic Rebuke doing work in this match.
That's two really good metallic rebukes. Yeah. So construct now is going to become a 4/4, 5/5. That's a big life point swing. That's definitely a big life point swing. Alex is going to go up to 24. Sudeep is going to go down to 12. Or sorry, 23. And then be like, okay, I have all this removal. Now I'll be able to get the Shadow Spear. Out of range of Pyroclasm, that's for sure.
Yeah, and this is the thing: is if Sudeep doesn't hit a land here, he has to choose really what he wants to do. Prioritizing
Swift Spear.
prioritizing aggro here, looking for this next land drop probably for on the next turn. Might be a Tamio on top.
Deciding how all in we're going to go here on the Swift Spear. Whether it like matters to attack or if you're just on potentially on blocking duty.
Oh, but
Because like if the golem doesn't grow too much more, block plus lightning bolt does something. Nope, doesn't do anything anymore.
it's really
Whoops.
tough. It's really tough.
Yeah, now we have a 6/6 golem.
Urza Saga's good.
Urza Saga's good. Yeah, see, this is why you make a golem there.
Yeah, we're seeing Shadow Spear doing the work that it used to do. Remember when Shadow Spear was in like Jund with Ren and 6?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't know if that was 2 years ago, but like back when that was like the deck, Ren and 6 and Urza Saga was like a deck. Now Ren and 6 is like in everybody's binder because you can't play it anymore.
Yeah, poor Renin 6.
It's crazy when the Modern Horizons cards got power crept like that. It was like, how? Like how? These cards are so strong.
So now, Corey Steelcutter can be deployed, and you can get at least another card out of it. Pass.
Oh.
Interesting.
This is a really tough spot. Maybe he's just all in on the burn plan.
Yeah, just trying to point enough burn at the golem
Another
or
artifact.
construct.
Another artifact makes it really hard though.
Yeah, so that is 6/6 artifact, 7/7 golem. Plus the Microsynth Gardens can turn it into an 8/8 by copying something. Probably reading to see if it can become another construct.
It can probably become a Shadow Spear if he needs it to be.
Well, Shadow Spear is legendary, so
Oh, it's legendary. Okay, that makes sense. It
so
is
Lightning Bolt the golem. Yep. 3 damage on the golem.
Dart.
Lava Dart the golem. 4 damage on the golem. Oh, maybe he wasn't thinking about the Darksteel Citadels? Yep. Flashback. 5 damage marked on it, and then block.
To trade?
Yep, they'll trade. Because now even if Alex copies another artifact with the Microsynth Gardens, Sudeep has 9 power. Yep, so make it into a Mishra's Bauble. Yep. Now it is a 8/8. But it has 5 damage and takes 4. So it should be dead, right? Yeah.
Gains 1,billion life.
Gains a lot of life. Now has double bauble. And I guess the question here is like, okay, so at this point in the game, last time, Sadeep was like, I found a threat and then I kept all your guys off the board. So is Alex going to find a threat um, first? And Sadeep has, ooh, Quarry Steel Cutter into Wear Tear Destroyer Shadow Spear is pretty good. Oh, doesn't have the third land though. Needs to find a third land before that happens.
Oh, whiffs on
Did
the
not find
third
it
land.
there. But picking up a pending is good.
It does have
Oh
the
no,
third
does
land.
have a third land. Okay,
Buried in the back. Okay.
buried in the back. So setting up for another turn, a big turn next turn. So deploy your 1-drop here, and then have Quarry Steel Cutter and a removal spell for next turn, which is also going to trigger double prowess on this guy and make a monk. Pretty strong. This Jeskai deck is pretty strong.
Yeah,
I
I think it's pretty cool.
think it's pretty cool. Yeah,
Lived up to its name 1,000%.
yeah. Sadeep also now at 1. So 1 is a scary place to be, though I don't think the affinity deck has anything with haste in it.
Or any direct damage, right? Any,
And, oh right, or direct damage.
so it might as well be like pretty safe.
Yeah, so
Sorta?
it's sort of face up on the table. I think that the challenge is going to be if another saga is deployed and then more constructs come online, because those are pretty hard to burn out. I mean, you can do it, but you had to trade 4 cards for it because you traded lightning bolt, lava dart, land, creature. 4 cards for a
It-
third of a card.
Insane.
Yeah.
Insane card or raw power in that Urza Saga.
So here we're thinking about, oh, Kappa Cannoneer. Oh, we don't quite have the artifacts for Kappa Cannoneer.
You go second Mox Opal,
So
Tormod's
3,
Crypt.
4, 5. Oh no, we do the Shadow Spear.
Oh,
Yep.
and it triggers itself, of course. Legacy playable.
Yep.
Kappa Cannoneer. Triggers.
Yep. That is going to be pretty tough to beat, I think. So get rid of your graveyard
No Delirium.
because Kappa's Ward 4. Sudeep is never going to be able to pay that.
Oh, laughs as
So,
he
yep.
picks up his cards.
But has a sideboard card, but Kappa Cannoneer just way too strong.
Yeah, and can cast the wear, but gets countered by the 4. It had to pay 6 mana there to wear or to tear
To tear
the Kappa,
the Kappa down.
and
So
that's too much.
that's too much mana. So game 3, Sudeep going to go back on the play, which is obviously pretty important.
Definitely.
Oh, that's a good call. Somebody points out Lava Spore Brutes does give haste.
We saw that before.
And you're
yeah.
right. You're right. There is a threat of Lava Spore Brutes, which would be a hasty threat. Though, you know what else? Kappa Cannoneer is just huge and will kill you.
You can't block it. Look at that. Yeah, so I think that it comes down to kind of like that. Sudeep didn't exactly have what he needed in order to outpace the sheer power of the affinity deck there. One Urza Saga and all the artifacts just giving the value, the Mishra's Baubles redrawing, the Mox Opals ramping it out. There's just so much value there that, even though Sudeep was going really fast, doing something really cool, he just wasn't able to beat it. And that one construct, that one Shadow Spear token, did so much.
Yeah, two really well timed counter spells plus a construct token. And Alex never really felt like he was in danger because his life total was incredibly high. So the turn from Sudeep would have to be, it would be explosive, if he was able to untap there and play Core Steel Cutter plus removal spell and be like, oh yeah, I'm really going to town. But there's a lot of life to chew through. So we'll get right into game 3, deciding game of the match of the night. Looks like he's got a bunch of lands and spells.
DRC Bolt, I think it was double preordain.
Oh, Alex does have Whip Flare and Lava Spur Boots. We spotted that.
So it's DRC, DRC, Soulstar Mage, 2 lands, double
Preordain Lightning Bolt.
and
And
then
oversized, we have Odawara Island, Darksteel Citadel, Lava Spur Boots, and Emery, and Bauble.
pretty good starting hands from both players here. For a good a good start to this game 3.
Both decks are definitely doing kind of like what they want to do early on. So we'll see whether or not the Darcy gets how quickly the Darcy gets out of whip flare range, right? Pending.
That will be the big point in this match. Because you can get 3 types, or you can get 2 types right now. Just resolving a sorcery will work.
Right. Or just playing this and setting up for next turn. And leaving Bolt back to, I guess, save your, protect your Soulscar Mage. Or, I guess you're not necessarily on the read that Affinity is going to play Whip Flare on 2, because I don't think they have, well, Moxo Ball, I guess, is a red source, right? That they would be worried about. Yeah, attack for 1. Take that. Not playing a Preordain. Not switching. Not fetching this turn. Leaving my Lightning Bolt here. Alex thinking about bobbling at end of turn, deciding if he needs it to maintain Metalcraft, or if he wants to cheapen his Emery, or just wants to draw. Just wants to draw. So play this. Play Opal. All right, good start. Play Emery. Or are we playing Whip Flare first? No, play Emery. Nope. Yeah, trigger Emery first. Yep. Good flip.
And
Having a Thought Monitor in the graveyard is almost as good as having it in your hand.
it's so good. And Emery especially wears the boots real well. Having like the ward is important here. On top of that, I think that, playing the Emery is a sign that Alex feels like he's the aggressor here. He doesn't worry about the whip flare. Or maybe it was a play to draw out removal, knowing that next turn he wants to whip flare. So
Yeah.
he's okay with playing his creature so that Sudeep will get aggressive, kill his creature, swing out for a bunch, and then he can whip flare after taking the gas out of his opponent's sails.
Right. So we're going to surveil. We're going to Lightning Bolt on top, deciding if we want Lightning Bolt in our hand. Do you want a bonus Lightning Bolt? You get to look at a lot of cards here because you get to surveil 1 and then scry 2 and then draw. You definitely want to leave that bobble on top because you get another prowess trigger for free, and then when you crack it, you have delirium for your Darcy. Now we're swinging in for 6, which is pretty good. And you can safely deploy the backup Darcy too. Well, actually, not necessarily, because if Alex can remove the graveyard, then obviously they shrink and die to Whip Flare.
That's a good point. And now you are the aggressor if you're Steep.
Yep. Well, they're certainly both trying to be the aggressor, right? Affinity maybe can do a little bit more on the control plan with their counter spells and some of their stuff, but Sudeep, I think, not really trying to play a controlling game.
Definitely.
Sort of a tempo game. So we're going to play a plating. Has a Metallic Rebuke on standby. It's pretty good.
Trying to decide whether to whip flare here or to hold a rebuke. Ends up going with rebuke. I think that's safe.
Yeah, that's pretty good because again, you're not just dead.
And if you cast whip flare, the DRC doesn't die, and then casts a bolt to the face, and the Soul Scar Mage lives too.
Right. I think the bolt went on the bottom, so yeah, Pyroclasm don't need that anymore. So
Yeah.
surveil that away.
Get it out of
Look
here.
at 2 Darcy, Corey Steelcutter. Yeah, you bottom both of those, right? Because you have a Darcy in your hand and you don't have the lands to support the Steelcutter plan.
There's the land.
Oh, did he draw land? Oh, yeah. Okay, well.
I don't know what it is, but he played it. Oh, there it is. Steam Vents.
Steam
Or
Vents.
no?
No, it's the fetch land next to it. So we're
Oh.
gonna pending the Lava Spore Boots. Yep, rebuke. So Lava Spore Boots sticks around. Oh, there is a bolt. Bolt is still in the hand. Okay, but coming in for another 6. Put Alex to 7.
Really close game.
Very close game, yeah, because it's like Steep also being conservative with threats has the extra Darcy, but not deploying it. So Springleaf Drum, yep. With Flare just kind of pretty good against monk tokens, but not very good here.
Yeah, and this is kind of what I found against the Quarry Steelcutter decks is you really don't want Pyroclasm. You want like an Anger of the Gods.
Anger of the Gods, yeah. Anger of the Gods would certainly be better.
Yeah. Thought Monitor is
Thought
huge.
Monitor and Ornithopter are good because they can both be on blocking duty. Thought Monitor can also pick up a boots and a helmet and go
That's so strong.
to town. Play
And a
Tameo. Tameo also pretty good on blocking duty. And then somebody's going to pick up either boots or a helmet. Maybe boots. You could maybe give Tameo boots if you wanted an extra clue. I guess Thought Monitor's getting boots. That's why he's sideways right now.
Well, I think it's the Springleaf Drum, right?
Oh, yeah, sorry, tapping for the Springleaf Drum, I see. Using and deciding who is going to pick up the boots after the Springleaf Drum gets tapped for mana.
And I think that rub of the head was him just being like, "Oh, but I'm tapping my best attacker." Like you're definitely not attacking here, but like you want to still be pressuring your opponent with your evasive threats.
Yeah, best attacker but worst blocker, so I guess it makes sense as a mana source. Yeah, so put the cranial plating on Tameo. Tameo now up threat. End of turn fetch.
Is Sudeep dead to a second cranial plating off the top?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes.
Okay. Well, we're racing.
Yeah, it is a bit of a race. Though again, Sudeep does have Bolt in hand. Bolt and Wear Tear, I believe. So still a bunch of interaction. Alex's last card is Whip Flare. So it'll be interesting to see, like, obviously we have God's Eye view, so we can make all sorts of decisions that the players wouldn't necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
So he's just gonna shuffle again after his surveil for some reason.
Something must have happened.
Yeah, something weird must have happened.
Maybe he didn't offer the deck to cut.
Oh yeah, that'll happen sometimes.
Alex is like, I'm sorry, but oh, he saw 2 cards.
Oh, he saw 2 cards. Yeah, okay, that makes sense.
That also can happen.
That also happens, especially this late at night. Honestly,
Yeah.
I did that once where I was trying to reveal or resolve a preordain. Oh, Corey Steelcutter is pretty good here, and I picked up 3 cards, and I only saw the first and the third.
You're like, oh, I can't go back.
So Bolt Tameo, yep. So 2 prowess triggers on the Soulscar Mage, bin that, make a monk. So this is 7. So something is getting blocked by Ornithopter here. Probably one of the 3 power guys. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, block that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Sudeep actually still dead to top decked
Plating?
plating. Yep,
That-
plating kills him.
That's insane.
Yep. Here it is. Plating? Doesn't look like it's plating.
He definitely knew that his out was a cranial plating. and
Yeah.
Now he's like, I have to think. Damn it.
Now we got to go in the tank. Now we got to figure out if we can put together something here. Thought like a thought cast into drawing a plating, a land and a plating is also good here. So we're gonna tap Odawara, and we're gonna Emery.
You have a lava super boots.
Yep. So we can put Lava Spur Boots on the Emery and then buy back something. So we can put the boots on and then buy. Oh, you get to cast Whip Flare. Thought Monitor. Yep. No, you need land to cast.
I think I saw an island.
This is pretty crazy. Yeah, cast Whip Flare. It kills your own Emery, but it also clears. It clears the smaller guys. Darcy remains. Emery down. And then you have 2 blockers.
You can't be aggressive.
Yeah, you probably cannot attack here because the likelihood that Siddiq can cast 2 spells is high.
So high. Hmm.
Yeah, this is tricky. Because your thought monitors kind of have to be on blocking duty, and the best you can hope for is that they trade with a monk token. Actually, the best you can hope for is Siddiq doesn't have 2 spells, but that's not
Have 3
that's not
lands.
reality. Yeah,
It's 1 land, a wear tear, and a DRC.
not having double removal is definitely. Oh, but having a removal at all is bad because you destroy one of the blockers, make a monk, attack, and then you block the
Ooh.
3, you die to the monk. Core Steel Cutter is a busted card.
All night we saw it every single match, and shout out to both players for doing
Yeah.
awesome work there.
Yeah, that was well navigated. That was super cool. That was good stuff.
Crazy games.
Anyway, that does it for us here. Thanks for watching. We'll be on our what? Yeah, hit the follow button on YouTube or Twitch. I pointed here as if the follow button is here. I'm pretty sure it's going to be below us.
They're gonna put it in one of these places. You
No,
just
no, no.
gotta find
it's
it.
already it's already going to be somewhere. It's probably here. Yeah. So it's down below. Hit the follow button. I guess you can ring the bell, right? And then that means you get a notification when things go live. So do that. That'll be fun. And you can also watch Digimon and. No, Digimon's the one you can't watch. You watch Pokemon and Lorcana, one of the Mons. Um, so yeah, that about does it. But before we go, we just got some quick stuff to cover. Singles and more. Buy and sell yours at nerdragegaming.com. If you want to pick up some stuff for the upcoming tournament, please do so. If there's things that you don't want anymore, you can unload them and turn them into things that you do want. It's called upcycling. There's also all kinds of stuff going on all week long. At 5 o'clock on Monday, you can play Commander. At 6:30, you can play Digimon. On Tuesday at 6:30, you can play your choice of games, One Piece or Lorcana. At 6:30, that's Modern. Right here, you can watch that. You've been watching it all night, or maybe you're watching it in the future on YouTube. On Thursday, there's more Magic at 5 p.m., more Commander. Pokemon is at 6:30. You can watch that. And then Friday is the triple threat, Legacy Standard, and One Piece. It's a strange trilogy. I don't really follow the plot, but it seems pretty cool. And then Saturday at 1, you can play Digimon. All kinds of games.
Someone in chat's asking for the link to the affinity list.
We can ask Alex to post his list.
Join the Discord.
Yeah, join the Discord and we'll see if Alex will post it because it looks super cool. And here's the Discord link right here. Scan the QR code, or hit up the link tree, and you can find the direct links to both the store server and also the series server. And we're back at the booth to say bye. Bye. Have a good
Bye.
night. See ya.